Talladega is not just a town on a map, it is a rite of passage. Fans like Kenny and Andy from New Hampshire and the Nortons of Georgia caravan and meet up for what's become as much a reunion as it is a race. At this track, there is no such thing as quiet time. It's certainly not happening now as the trucks get ready to roar on the high banks. Welcome to what we like to call the wild card, the race that keeps drivers up at night, not because they're scared of what they have to do, but because they're concerned with what they cannot control at NASCAR's biggest and most unpredictable track. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Devoto. Welcome to The Setup, the only pre-race show that puts you right in the middle of the action. With 17 races complete, there are now only 5 remaining. Just 5 more chances to up your championship stock, but this one can pull you right out of the title picture. And that is why that is one of the stories you need to follow today. Now, the trucks have not been racing at Talladega for long, only 6 times, but each of those races has had the big one. Drivers need to avoid that big wreck. And this is a big race for Red Horse Racing, the organization celebrating race number 300 today. Timothy Peters, Todd Bodine, and Parker Kligerman trying to give their owner a great present. Of course, the focus is on the title. Only a single point separates the top 2 drivers. With this race, anything can and usually does happen. Let's bring in Ray Dunlap and Hermie Sadler. And Ray, Jason White was so fast in practice, Michael Waltrip has already said he's taking him as his pick today.
We'll see if that works out, Krista. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll take him first because I've had my eye on this truck all weekend. Jason White has a very fast truck. It's called Rockstar because that's your favorite Nickelback song. But I've watched you drive in this truck here at Talladega and at Daytona, bringing home a couple of top 5s, but not a win yet, Jason. What's going to be the difference today that makes you get to victory lane?
You know, I think we're going to have to be there at the end, and we got to get a few guys to work with us. And right now, I think we got a few guys, one behind me. Hopefully he'll work with us a little bit. But we're excited. I mean, this Gunbreaker.com team has done a heck of a job preparing this truck, Roush Ford engine, and, man, I'm pretty excited to get the race on.
Fast race truck, and I think this little tandem right here might work out pretty good later, Hermie.
Well, Ray, to get to victory lane, he's going to have to go through this guy. That's Kurt Busch. Now, Kurt, you've had a lot of success at plate tracks through the years in the Cup side. But what you do in a car, working the truck, we have to change your style just a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I mean, the closure rate and the stability of the trucks is very different than the cars. So I got to learn from these Truck Series veterans early on and then settle in and find the groove with this Dollar General Toyota. I mean, Kyle called me, and I just got to deliver. This is what this year's been about, is a lot of fun, doing weird one-off things, and running a truck race at a plate track was not on my list to start out with, but I want to go and seal the deal for Kyle and try to get the trophy brought in for this team.
And if it comes down to teammates, you have a teammate that's making his first start at Talladega. Does that concern you at all? No,
he's a good guy. He's a champion. The Mexican championship is something that's important. He's done it 3 years in a row. You just don't slop into that. So waiting to see how he settles in and how the day goes. But teammates are always there for each other at the end, and that's why I'm here for my brother today. So blood's thicker than water, and we're going to go give it our best. But I tell you, there's some veterans out there that are strong, and a rookie named Ty that's going to be fast today too.
Well, his teammate is Eamon Quiroga today, and we'll have more on him later in the setup show. Krista?
That's right, we will, Hermie. We're glad Kurt is doing some of those weird one-off things. We are happy to have him here in the Truck Series. Still to come here on the setup in Talladega, we have some great stories for you. Can you imagine how you'd be feeling if you were about to make your first start at Talladega? Hermie mentioned Quiroga. We will shine a spotlight on him coming up. Plus, on a much lighter note, Rick and Ray took a field trip with some drivers in Las Vegas. It was not a show on the strip, but there were plenty of colorful hits.
Seriously, he never hit me. I don't even know why he thinks he hit me. There's no way that he hit me.
I think he did.
No way. There's no proof that he hit me.
The setup is brought to you by Camping World and Good Sam. Everything for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, and roadside assistance. And by Royal Purple, the performance oil that outperforms.
Joey Coulter wins it at Pocono.
God, you guys are freaking awesome. Bud,
you brought me to tears right here. I told you could do it.
He's been working really, really hard to be a better race car driver. He has made huge improvements, done a great job.
But don't you love it when you give a kid a chance and he takes advantage of it?
Timothy Peters has led every lap. Can he lead the final one? Coming out of turn number 4. It's going to be a big win for Timothy Peters at Bristol.
That's the way, baby. That's the way, everybody. Excellent job, guys.
He's going to grab his first ever Camping World Truck Series win, and it comes in Atlanta Motor Speedway.
We did it. Love you guys. Thank you so much. And Atlanta, baby. Woo!
Buescher is going to win at Kentucky.
Do that again next week. Thank you.
Well, the young guys have been stealing the show this year. Of our top 5 drivers, Timothy Peters is the old man, the only one in his 30s. Kligerman 1 point behind Coulter. Buescher trails Dillon by only a single point as well. But Hermie, Dillon has an advantage today.
Well, he does have an advantage. First truck race here, but you won a very exciting ARCA race here last year with a last lap pass. Can you draw from some of those positive emotions here at Talladega?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely know what it feels like to have a last lap pass here at Talladega in my first race. So I'm looking forward to it. This place is a blast to race at. These trucks are like no other racing in the draft. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we can leave that Bass Pro Shop Chevy out front all day and let it just suck up some clean air. And we'll see what it comes down to at the end. And we'll know what to do if we have to pass somebody to come to the check.
You know you got a fast truck, obviously qualifying up front. You've been asked this a lot this week. To take that black 3 truck to victory lane at Talladega, what would that mean to you and your career so far?
It'd mean the world. And, you know, this place has built the 3. You know, Dale Earnhardt's done so well here. So my grandfather started his racing career in NASCAR here. So I'm looking forward to getting out there myself with the 3, and hopefully his fans will enjoy it and we can hear him in the race car.
That's Ty Dillon. He rolls off P1. Krista?
And Hermie, this is the 3rd career pole for the driver of the number 3, his truck right behind me. From the 3 to the 300, this is a special race, a milestone race for Red Horse Racing. When Tom DeLoach first started this organization, there were plenty of naysayers. But this year, his trucks have been to victory lane 3 times, and 2 of his 3 drivers are in the title fight.
I'll tell you, that Red Horse Toyota Tundra was pretty awesome today.
David Starr comes out of turn number 4, and he will win the Kroger 250. Rolling through the corner, coming out, turn number 4, checkered flags in the air. Timothy Peters will win at Martinsville.
I can't thank it enough for this gentleman right here, Tom DeLoach.
Timothy Peters is wild coming up to the line. Timothy Peters is going to win at Daytona.
We just won Daytona. I can't thank Tom DeLoach for giving me the opportunity. All this Red Horse Racing team.
Tom DeLoach, the owner of Red Horse Racing. He said, surely we can get a win here. One of those trucks. I believe that's a deep breath. Oh, my goodness.
Well, standing here watching that Daytona footage, Timothy Peters got a pretty big smile on your face. You guys have 3 trucks in the race today. You start 7th, 8th, and 9th. Any kind of team orders, or how much have you talked to your teammates to say, can we do this together?
We're definitely going to try our best. Obviously, with the 300 start for Red Horse Racing, all 3 of our Toyota Tundras in the top 10. And as far as I can remember, this is the best qualifying effort on the Speedway. So we had a meeting right before the intros here that we're going to work our best up until 93 and a half laps, and then it's everybody for themselves from the travel to the start-finish line. But all of us are great, and it's going to be an exciting race.
All right, go. They need you to driver intros right away. That is Timothy Peters, and those 3 trucks rolling off the grid, all in a row. Krista?
Thanks, Ray. Here are the numbers. 9 wins for the organization that used to be dubbed the little team that could. Timothy Peters has said that Tom DeLoach saved his racing career. Peters could be the one to bring Red Horse its first NASCAR championship. Well, what is going on with the team right now? You saw Timothy going to driver intros, but just before that, the team tweeted this picture. The entire organization fitting inside the hauler to have their weekly team meeting. Again, their 300th race. Well, tomorrow, Race Day is asking NASCAR fans to be a part of the broadcast. Make your voice heard in the Speed Live vote during the Ultimate Pre-Race Show in Talladega. Tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern and go to speed.com to get in on the fun. Coming up here on The Setup, what happens when you turn two Brazilians, a Texan, Rick and Ray, loose in a paintball ring? Well, a lot of laughs, some Portuguese cursing, and plenty of bumps and bruises.
Yeah, it's all in a hard day's work, I guess.
But the Brazilians aren't the only international drivers in the field. The pride of Mexico City is in this race, too. We tagged along on his first Talladega practice. We'll have it for you next. Welcome back to Talladega. Cale Gale is an Alabama native. His sponsor, Rheem, is getting involved in Breast Cancer Awareness Month. His truck has a great look tonight. There you see, gotta have a cure on the back of that truck. Another driver to keep an eye on today, Ryan Blaney, making his first truck start at Dega. Blaney won a few weeks ago in Iowa, but this track, very different and a whole lot bigger. Well, Blaney, not the only driver in the field making his first Talladega truck start. Herman Quiroga, the three-time Mexico Series champion, has raced at 1 Mile, New Hampshire, and 1.5 Mile Homestead last year. But that's far different than what he's about to experience here at Talladega. His perspective is very unique, and he shared it with us in yesterday's practice.
Well, I returned to drive stock cars 5 years ago when the NASCAR Mexico Series started. For those 5 years, I accomplished 3 championships in a row, but I wanted to jump my career higher, so I decided to come to North Carolina and have a ride in Kyle Busch Motorsport.
Hey, Herman, do you feel comfortable enough now we can go out there and you can go with another truck? Okay, all right.
Way out. Clear all the way out.
Stay with him. Try and be as stable as you can. Get a little bit closer. You got 4 trucks in line behind you. Stay right with the 23. Try and get as close as you can, like Rick said. Even try and give him a little bump in the back. Just get that close. I'll tell you when you're getting too close.
I'm pretty happy with the truck, with the balance, with Rick Wren. At the beginning, it's not that easy. I mean, the trucks that are in the pack, they pass you flying.
The closing rate on the pack is really fast. So they might be running 20 mile an hour, 30 mile an hour faster than you.
All right, jump up behind him.
I lost it. Just tell me which one is the last truck so I can jump in. I didn't know if I was clear.
Careful. We're not going to catch you guys in front of us.
It's more learning the air here. You get used to working with regulars, and then you gotta go back to remember when you brought a rookie to the speedway.
We're struggling times, lap times, but we are right for the race. What we want to do is be very, very smooth in both laps, catch up speed as fast as we can in going into the green flag, and let's see how it goes. I mean, for us, top 15 qualifying would be great for the race.
It looked very good on the racetrack. It looked very good. You've done a nice job.
Okay, thank you.
I feel pretty comfortable for the race. We're going to be able to run in the race, in the pack. That will help us out to be in the top positions and finish the race. It's our first goal.
I think Herman did a really good job for his first time at a super speedway like this. He's not new to racing, but this is quite different than regular racing. So I think the first time here, I think he did a really good job.
A lot of focus on Quiroga today. The series he has dominated the last few years will actually be sharing the track with NASCAR at Phoenix International Raceway next month. NASCAR and the track just announcing that partnership last week. Well, Mexico is not the only place south of the border where you will find thousands of NASCAR fans. In fact, last week, Brazil was on its feet when one of its drivers, Nelson Piquet Jr., won in dramatic fashion. But for Nelson and his teammates, there was action in Vegas before the race even began.
All right, Ray and I are here to play a little paintball. We don't know exactly what we're doing.
That's an understatement.
We've got the Turner Motorsports guys here. We want to know the rules and what the engagement is going to be like, so we've got Greg Hastings here to help us out.
Playing some paintball, the drivers get to not drive 200 miles per hour, but actually dodge 200 mile per hour projectiles. I'll be on your team, I'll be against you. We're gonna mix in the pros that I brought. We got special machine guns flown in for you guys. We're in Las Vegas. We're playing in desert style, so stay tight, move fast. This is attack and defend, guys. Attack and
They're defending?
They're defending. You ready?
Ready.
Ready! Game on! Go! One lap! One lap! Game over! Game over!
So Cat says to me, come on, move up. So I get up there and I get in position. I'm looking through a hole, and it's only about 3 inches by an inch high, and I'm looking through there, and bam, right in. I'm like, how am I going to find out who I'm hitting?
You got some yellow paint in your ear.
There's paint in your ear, buddy.
Good for character, I guess.
Where was that?
That hole wasn't there.
You opened up a hole.
I added a hole to these holy
You need to open up a can of whoop ass is what you need to do. That's what you need to do.
We kept digging.
I know, we did. We didn't give up.
All right, so the next round is speedball. We call it speedball because there's a lot less places to hide on that. Your side of the field has the same amount of bunkers and the same position as the other side. Go, go!
Yeah, they got it.
Got me, I'm out.
I don't even know why he thinks he hit me. There was no way that he hit me.
I think he did.
No way. There's no proof that he hit me.
So it's your squad against our 2 ladies.
All the guys against 2 girls. I'm out! We got anybody left? You're kidding me!
Right there. 7 of us? 7 of us. They got 2.
Well, as you can see by all the paint on Ray, myself, and the drivers,
I'm clean.
The professionals did a pretty good job of paintballing. So we want to thank the Turner Motorsports guys for inviting us out here, and we definitely want to thank our professionals, Greg Hastings, teaching us how to paintball. And after the welts go away, I think we're going to try it again.
Okay, Ray looked like a motocross rider, and was Rick channeling Goose or Maverick that day? The only thing I can think to say is negative Ghost Rider. The pattern is most certainly full. We have a lot more fun coming up here at Talladega. Tomorrow, though, immediately following the Sprint Cup race, turn to speed for post-race coverage on NASCAR Victory Lane. Celebrate with the winners, Johnny, Kenny, Larry Mack, and Kyle. Break down all of the excitement from the wildest race of the chase. It's NASCAR Victory Lane immediately after the race right here on Speed. Coming up still today, quite possibly the most difficult fantasy pick of the year, but that is not the only reason you need to stay tuned. Let's just say Ray is in very unfamiliar territory. Stick around.
Now Todd Bodine moves to the outside. Bodine makes the run. It's Todd Bodine at the line. He'll win again. 4 wide through the triangle. Here comes Kyle Busch. He goes to the outside. Kyle Busch will win at Talladega. Kyle Busch is going to move to the inside. It's a drag race. Kyle Busch gets it by 2 1,000ths of a second.
And you saw amazing last lap passes. Eric Almirola found himself on the wrong side of one of those in this race 2 years ago. He is back today in this field for redemption. And speaking of last lap passes, well, we've been sensing this would happen. Ray has had a share of the lead since week 3 in April. He was still tied up top last week, but finally, Ray plummets down to 3rd this week. This is huge. Phil and Michael now tied for 1st. And Michael does it again. Michael gets the sticker. Let's put him right above Hermie here. We're going to start a new row. So, Michael, great job. But we need to set up, if you've just joining us, for what we do, all 6 of us now get to make our picks for this race. And this may be the toughest one to handicap of all. You just don't know what to expect. So who are we picking? Rick, you're up first.
Yeah, I get to pick first because I'm not very good at picking the winners in these races, obviously. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the guy who's #1 in points, who starts up front, and the last time he raced at this racetrack, he went to Victory Lane. That's Ty Dillon. So the number 3, Ty Dillon, my pick for today's race at Talladega. Hermie.
Well, Rick, I think that's a pretty good pick, but I don't think it's a winning pick. I think the winning driver is going to be Kurt Busch. A lot of experience, obviously, behind the wheel, and he also had the fastest truck of the Toyotas in qualifying here yesterday. I think speed and experience gets Kurt and I to Victory Lane. How about you, Krista?
Well, I think for me, I have to go with Jason White. I am taking Jason White today as my pick. I'm just kidding, Michael. I know you already called your shot. I hate to do that to you, but instead I'm going to pick the driver. I look at that. I'm sorry. Hold on. We've got a big race here. I don't want to take you out of it yet. No, I'm not taking Jason White. I just wanted to make sure you were paying attention. I'm actually going to take the driver who I mentioned a few moments ago, Aric Almirola. He has made 3 truck starts here and has finished second in the last 2. Second both times. And I think Alex's dad, yes, Aric and wife Janice have little Alex with them today. I think Alex's dad gets the win today. Ray, this is very early for you.
I know. I don't know what to do picking right here, Krista, but I tell you this. We're very close to the Coosa River, so I think all of you are going to be catfish bait today because I get to finally get the guy that I really, really want when we come to a super speedway. Right here he is. He's the youngin. Jason White said he's pretty sure he's going to draft with this guy, and it has not been pretty this year. A 17.6 average finish, but today I'm going to rub the noggin. We're going to get some luck, and Todd Bodine going to victory lane, yes or no?
Heck yes.
Okay, easy. That was it. Hermie, or who's next?
These two.
Me.
The
Up
leaders.
to the booth.
The
leaders are next. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Last night I was in bed and Jason White and Denny Hamlin came by. And I could just tell Jason White thinks he's got a special truck and that he's going to be able to race to the front. He was 5th at Daytona a year ago. He was 5th here in the spring. He got his career best finish of 2nd at Michigan just a few races ago. Jason White is on a roll and he's ready, and he's my pick, Krista.
Wait a minute. I'm a little uncomfortable about the whole you were in bed and Jason White came over to tell you what his truck was like.
Yeah, the 3 of us talked about
I'll
it.
stay here, but go ahead, Phil.
Well, I'm going to take a guy that won the nationwide race at Daytona this year. He finished 3rd in this race last year. He's won 4 times already this season in the Truck Series, and he's going to be starting from the 3rd spot. I'm going to pick James Busher to get win number 5 here and jump over Ty Dillon for that point lead.
I'm glad Ray didn't call us names this time. When he
No,
threw it
he
up
called
there.
us fish bait.
Well, knuckleheads.
Yeah, but look where he
We've
is.
been called a lot
Look
of
where he
things.
is in the points now, too.
Oh, he's a long ways ahead
He's
of
not
me.
as far down as you.
Don't you cast any stones.
And it's because he said we're near the Coosa River. What is he
Yeah.
talking about? And by the way, Ray tried to toss to Hermie because he's not used to having to pick in the middle. He didn't realize that he had to toss up to the booth to Michael and Phil. So who is your pick today for this race? Well, all the drivers are watching this race as well. Michael Annette says his pick, he is also going with the Onion. We'll have to wait and see. It's the race that keeps drivers up at night with concern. It's also the race that keeps fans coming back for more. Ty Dillon is on the pole. Just a 1-point lead over James Busher in the standings. A stacked field. We have ringers like Aric Almirola and Kurt Busch in the mix as well. Who will be standing in victory lane when it's all said and done? Trucks at Talladega. Hold on for the ride.
What does truck racing in Alabama amount to? It's about a Camping World kind of weekend. It's about accuracy, aerodynamics. It's all about speed. It's about that colossal feeling of community. It's about a gathering of endorphin-addicted, thrill-seeking junkies. It's about rolling out friendly rivalries, all the while sharing full throttle fondness and all kinds of bumper-loving fun. It's about adrenalized drifting abilities and agility. It's about the uncanny characteristic of alacrity found throughout every inch of this super speedway. It's about that insane, energetic, intense, heart-pounding providential moment. It's about the championship hopeful seeking that slingshot towards Truck Series stardom. It's about all those breathtaking moments, those winning moments where time can stand still and yet pass you by in a heartbeat. It's all about Talladega trucking. It's about the compelling catapult you off your couch coverage of the Coca-Cola 250 powered by Fred's. It's all about speed.
The biggest track in NASCAR hosts the largest party in the South. This afternoon, Dega also hosts the Camping World Truck Series. A beautiful afternoon for racing, and if you're keeping track at home, we have some very hot storylines here in Alabama. Ty Dillon is the points leader. Today, he's also the pole sitter. But Richard Childress' grandson making his first truck start at Talladega. Will he be able to handle the pressure? And that pressure will be coming from the 2 drivers right behind him in the points, James Busher and Timothy Peters. Neither of them have won here either. In fact, Todd Bodine is the only driver in the field who has won a truck race at this track. Who will it be today? Can Peters climb back up top in the points? We begin this race with this afternoon's pre-race ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Alabama Army National Guard presents our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Reverend Bobby Freeman, pastor of Southside Baptist Church in Talladega and Alabama Raceway Ministries volunteers, offers today's invocation.
Our Heavenly Father, we want to thank you and praise you for all that you've done in our lives. We thank you for the freedoms that you've given us, Father. We just ask you to bless today. I pray for safety for the drivers, Father, that everything that would be done here would be, God, according to your will. God, that you'd watch over our crowd, our fans, Father, everyone here, that they may honor you, that you would protect us. Thank you for this beautiful weather. Most of all, Lord, we thank you for the Lord Jesus Christ who died on the cross for our sins. In Jesus' name, amen.
Race fans, please remain standing for our national anthem singer. She's a second-grade student at Talladega's own Alabama School for the Blind, 7-year-old Malia Thibodeau.
With just 5 races to go, the championship cannot be locked up here, but it certainly could slip away. The contenders trying to survive, everyone trying to win. I'll join the boys for this one today. Rick has the call when we return here on Speed.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is presented on Speed by Royal Purple, the performance oil that outperforms. Brought to you in part by the new 2013 Ford F-150 with EcoBoost. And by Camping World and Good Sam. Everything for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, and roadside assistance. Welcome back to Talladega, Alabama. Even though this is race number 18 on the season, a lot of the drivers circle this race as one of their favorites. When we come here, 2, 3, 4 wide racing, definitely something that will take place. And unpredictability, probably the biggest storyline at this racetrack. Because of that unpredictability, how do you form strategy? Well, those are the things we want to talk about. Hello, everyone. Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip with you once again. Let's talk about that unpredictability of this race.
You know what I love so much? Last year, Kevin Harvick Incorporated came here with the perfect plan to go win this race. They executed that plan, and it worked perfectly, and they did just that, finished 1-2. NASCAR said, well, that wasn't much fun. We can take care of that, and they changed the rules around. Now these guys, you speak of unpredictability, these guys are here today, and I'm talking to drivers in the garage area. They don't have any idea what it's going to take to win this race. I talked to Jason White. Keep it up front. That's where I want to be. Well, that's pretty easy to say, very hard to do. There's going to be all kinds kinds of different ways to get to victory lane. And Phil, I can't wait to see what strategy it takes to pull it off.
And Michael, it starts at lap number 1. You want to be in position to make your pit stops at the right time, not speed on pit road. You can go about 30, 35 laps here. This is how the last 3 last lap passes happen here. Great racing here. You see Todd Bodine right behind Kyle Busch. He jumps out of line there. Passing just as they enter the tri-oval, and he's able to hold them off through the tri-oval and beats him with a little help from Ron Hornaday to victory lane. How about 2009 here? You've got teammates Eric Almirola, Kyle Busch. Eric jumps on behind Kyle Busch, pushes him by that same Tom Bodine to get the win. And then in 2010, it's ex-teammates. Eric Almirola with a lead. Kyle Busch pulls out at the last instant and passes him for a win of about 6 inches or something like that. But you have to be in position. You got to make flawless pit stops. You have to have the strategy to put yourself in that position towards the end of the race to be able to make a move like that.
And I can't wait to see if it happens again. That's fun stuff.
Well, do you think that the nerves are at a crescendo right now? I think the easiest way to maybe calm those nerves, let's fire the engines. Let's go down for the command.
You know they put on a show.
Please welcome back today's Grand Marshal, Executive Vice President and Chief Merchandising Officer for Fred's, Alan Crockett.
Drivers, start your engines.
Ty Dillon, Jason White, they make up row number 1. They're going to bring the field to the green flag in just a moment. They'll roll out onto the track. We'll be right back for the green flag. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. Trucks are rolling. We're getting ready for the 18th race of the year. Only 5 remain. We have a great points battle continuing here in the Camping World Truck Series, and it always comes down to Talladega, Martinsville, big hurdles that these point leaders will have to overcome, get good solid finishes if they want to be in the hunt for the 2012 championship. Our starting grid rolls across the top of the screen. Ty Dillon and Jason White make up row number 1. We'll ride along with a few different trucks. Mikey, why don't you tell us about it?
Let's get in with the 8th place qualifier, Timothy Peters. You talked about winning a championship. This team got off to a strong start at the beginning of the year, Rick. 2nd at Daytona. In the first 10 races, only 1 finish outside the top 11. After that, it's gone to pieces for him. So to get back in this championship battle, he needs a good day here in Talladega.
Let's ride along with the Onion. He's won here twice. He's won at Daytona twice. He won early this year at Dover. But other than that, it's been a poor season by his standards. He's never finished worse than 6th in the points when he ran all the races. He's 14th right now. But the Onion is starting 7th, and he has a great Toyota for this race.
What about this cat? He was within 1 inch. Maybe 4 or 5. But I mean, it was so close to winning this race a couple of years ago. Eric Almirola started in the 4th position. A lot of the cats down in the garage area really believe this truck can win today. He'll be hard to beat. He knows how to get it done at Talladega. 2nd here twice.
Rick, as you mentioned, this young man right here, the last time he was at this racetrack, he went to victory lane in the ARCA Racing Series. Ty Dillon will start from the pole in his Bass Pro Shop Chevy, trying to hold on to that point lead. He's got it by 1 over James Busher.
So those are the trucks that we will be riding along with. We're also maybe going to be able to talk to a couple of drivers. Let's talk to them now before the green flag comes out.
Yeah, let's try to talk to a young man that's making his first ever super speedway start.
44, if you guys want.
Hey, Ryan Blaney, Phil Parsons up in the speed booth. You got a copy?
4,300. 4,300 a second. I'll let you talk here, right? Yeah, 10-4, 43. Yeah, I got you, Phil.
Ryan, what's going through in your mind right now? You've had a great season so far, but this is the first time you've ever stepped in one of these vehicles on a super speedway. Are you ready for it?
I sure hope so. I think we got a good drawn side ramp, so hopefully we can slowly work our way up there and stay out of trouble and be in one piece for the finish and hopefully be up front.
Your truck owner, Brad Keselowski's been to victory lane at this racetrack. Your dad has had some great runs here, finished 3rd in a Cup race here last year. How much advice have they given you?
Well, yeah, definitely 2 guys I look up to most have had a lot of success on super speedways, especially this racetrack. So they give me little tips here and there about the draft and just little pointers that you can put in the back of your head for the race.
All right, buddy. Good luck. Have a good one.
Thank you.
I love the way that cat sounds, all calm, cool, collected, but you know those nerves are going crazy. Rick, this place is dangerous. These trucks are going to be running close to 200 miles an hour, inches apart. A lot of things can happen at Talladega.
You talk about this place being dangerous. Let's look at the particular numbers in our Royal Purple track description of Talladega Superspeedway. It's the biggest racetrack we race on.
It's exactly like it was several years ago, the track description, but the track is nothing like it was. This track is ultra smooth. These guys can run around their nose to tail the entire time. 33-degree banks, these guys will be running upwards of 190 miles an hour.
Look at that pit window, a scant 30 or 35 laps, so there'll be a lot of action on and off the pit road. We talked about staying up front. If you want to stay near the front, you've got to have that right strategy that you talked about in the opening.
And let's go back down to pit road and Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. You know, I have one of the best jobs in all of motorsports, and when you come to Talladega, I really feel like a fan. I get up on the wall. I'm always watching that last lap because, as Phil said earlier, there's always a great chance of a last lap pass here at Talladega. We had a fantastic one at Las Vegas in our most recent race, but when you look at the series history of 31 times for a last lap pass, so many of them have come at Daytona or Talladega. This kind of racing just sets it up, and I truly believe that Todd Bodine is the guy to keep your eye on. He's been involved in 3 of them here at Talladega. He's got a win in a couple of second places. That guy's good on super speedways, and that's why I picked him in the fantasy picks. Hermie?
Well, Ray, the reason we did not have a last lap pass here at Talladega last year was because Ron Hornaday and Mike Wallace, teammates for Kevin Harvick Incorporated, executed the tandem draft to perfection last year and simply dominated this race here at Talladega. You can see right here what the tandem draft looked like a lot at Talladega here last year. This is a shot of what we saw in practice. But since last year, NASCAR has implemented a couple rule changes that may affect it. Look right here, the nose of these trucks, only a 6x12 opening to catch air in the nose. Last year, you could catch air under the bottom of the nose, and NASCAR has also taken away the ductwork to the bottom of the nose. So that 6x12 opening is all you got, and NASCAR has also installed a pressure relief valve, much like we see on the Cup side, at 25 pounds. So they've got to do a good job of managing the temperature with these engines to have a shot at that last lap pass. Rick?
Thank you, Hermie. And the field making their way back through the tri-oval. They are going to be shown 1 lap to go before the green flag flies, and we'll be here for it. Welcome back. It's the Fred's Super Dollar $2.50, powered by Coca-Cola, presented by Royal Purple here on Speed. Take a look at our top 5 this season. Ty Dillon has put together a very impressive season. James Buescher as well, just 1 point separate the top 2. Little problems over the last few races for Timothy Peters has dropped him back to 24 points back. Joey Coulter, Parker Kligerman, couple young guys looking impressive this year.
But look how tight it is, 3rd, 4th, and 5th there, Rick. If something goes wrong with our 2-point leaders, they don't get through today, we're going to have a hornet's nest for this championship lead, because just outside the top 5, Matt Crafton is sitting there poised to jump in the battle as well.
He's only 2 points out of 5th right now, so it's definitely a 6-man race.
And he wants to make it a 2-man race.
Yeah, or a single.
He wants to get out of here unscathed, but that's the cat everybody's talking about. That's Eric Almirola, and Eric is poised to see if he can't put that number 5 truck for Richie Waters in victory lane.
Well, he came so close and needs to get to victory lane. He pushed Kyle Busch to a victory one year, and then Kyle Busch passes him just as they're going through the tri-oval to steal the win away from him another year.
And like maybe the only trucker that could have done it, Kyle was crashing when he passed Timothy.
Right. Completely sideways.
He was sideways in one direction, sideways in the other, and he grabbed the victory. So Eric Almirola did everything he thought he was supposed to do, including almost crashing the guy that won the race.
By 2 1/1000ths of a second.
We figured it out, Jimmy, our crack statistician. That's 6.8 inches.
That's pretty close.
That's not much.
That's pretty close. Field making their way through the tri-oval. This time by, they're going to see the green flag coming up to speed. Green flag in the air. We're underway at Talladega. A great run by Jason White as they work their way into turn number 1. It looked as though Ty Dillon had the best run, but now he's going to get a little help from behind.
On his rear tailgate. Gave him a little shove by Jason White.
And you know, you can do that push. You saw that tiny opening in those radiator on the grills of the front of the truck. These guys really have to manage from lap 1 what they do with that water temperature. Hermie spoke of the pressure relief valve that the guys are dealing with. That means that if water starts shooting out of that engine, you can only do that for a little bit, Phil, and you'll jeopardize the performance of your engine. So there's a lot of decisions that will have to go into winning this race today. You saw how important it is to get the big push that Ty Dillon got to lead the first lap, but you can't stay there long, buddy.
Saw John West Townley in the 09 jump out of line in that second line, the middle line right now. He's back there about 20 trucks back. Jay White leading the outside line. He's got Ron Hornaday behind him, and on the inside line, it's Ty Dillon followed by James Buescher.
Jason White had a great start. Started on the outside of the front row. They were even through 1 and 2. He was running 10th when they got back to the line.
And you know, he did everything right. He had a nice run on Ty Dillon as they got toward turn 1, but Ty picked up drafting help from James Buescher right behind him, and away he went. And you know, Phil, as the point leader, he and Buescher running right there in the front of the pack, they're not going to try anything right now.
No.
They're happy just to run 1-2 and log some laps.
One of the early questions that we're going to have to figure out what is going to happen is, will that second line move up on the first line? Because if Ty Dillon wants to hug that yellow line right now and hold on to the top spot, unless someone challenges him up in the second line, he doesn't have to move. But it looks as though that second line is beginning to move now.
And the second line is in control of their own destiny. If Jason White is okay with Ron Hornaday getting on that tailgate and pushing him, then they will indeed get there, as you can see they're doing now. But if Jason doesn't like it when Ron pushes him, he'll wave him off and they can't make any progress.
Kurt Busch in the 18 and that Dollar General 18 just jumped out into the second line as they were going through 1 and 2, then got back in line. It looked as though he was trying to figure out which one was going to go.
Well, I think he found he had no momentum, so he felt like he was better off jumping back inside.
There he goes, though. You know, that's somebody that doesn't care about this championship battle. He wants to win the race. Jason White is coming. Kurt Busch jumps out and takes advantage of the run that Jason has.
Ray, right now it looks like James Buescher is the pusher as far as him and Ty Dillon.
Well, he's just hanging back there right now, Rick, but in practice, James Buescher was one of the trucks that actually did a little bit of pushing. He and Kurt Busch got together, and James told me that he was able to go about a lap and 3/4 tucked right up on somebody's bumper. That's something we should file away for later in the race today. Can you do it? Will you do it? Not many people have practiced it, but here's the other thing to keep in mind. You don't want to push too early and get your engine hot, then be a late race caution and maybe go green, white, checkered. So there's a lot of decisions to be made about whether or not you will push and who you can go with.
Kurt Busch is very experienced. He's okay with Jason White pushing him. How much pushing Jason White has done could be a little bit questionable to Kurt Busch. Push me correctly, Jason, and we'll go somewhere, but you got to hold it in line. We saw here a year ago people spinning each other out just trying to do the tandem drafting. I don't think Kurt liked what he felt. He said, I'm back in line.
What are they talking about on the radio, Herbie?
Well, the 18 of Kurt Busch moved up when he saw the outside line coming. That had a lot to do with their spotter. Steve Barkdahl has a lot of experience spotting at places like Talladega, so you guys may want to elaborate. The driver's got to drive the truck, but an experienced spotter can make a big difference here at Talladega.
I think when you get two guys running together, you have to go find the other guy's spotter and standing with each other, because you essentially will spot for both vehicles.
Look who's coming, Phil. I don't think anybody's surprised. Here comes
Hornaday pushing Jason White to the front once again.
Here comes Chris Fontaine. He was the guy I was talking about. Always makes his way toward the top 10 on the restrictor plate race. Has a really fast truck. Is very comfortable running up front at Talladega.
Remember, we talked about the job Ron Hornaday and Mike Wallace did last year. Ron Hornaday was very, very comfortable pushing because he pushed Mike Wallace the entire race last year.
And you can see the ground they make as soon as they hook it together, but it's not a smooth hook together, Phil. There's a lot of bobbling by Jason White's truck. There was a lot of bobbling when Kurt Busch was out there as well, so it's risk reward. How much you want to risk.
Hornaday all over the back of that 23, giving him a shove. Those two had good momentum going. When they stay locked together, they go faster, but they can't stay locked together long, or that pressure relief valve that we talked about earlier will start spewing out water.
The main thing is, can we stay together and keep going straight? That's the thing I'm questioning. We saw Hornaday and Wallace, we talked about it, did it perfectly last year, but there was a lot of squirrely trucks when they tried to do that tandem pushing. There's so much to be gained by pushing another truck, but wow, you can lose a lot in a hurry if you don't do it correctly.
We saw Ryan Blaney in the 29 being pushed on that third line way on the outside, and now it looks as though the 27 of Cole Witt's going to back off and go to a different line.
We have 29 trucks right now within 2 seconds of the lead.
And I'm thinking that the third place truck at Las Vegas wasn't within 2 seconds at the start finish line, and right now we have 29 trucks, as you mentioned, within 2 seconds.
Now,
a big pack working around this track.
Wonder if our buddy we talked to prior to the race, Ryan Blaney, is any calmer after 3 or 4 laps, or if it's gotten worse. I mean, he's seeing stuff he's never seen before.
That outside line is working. Jason White has made it back up into the third spot with the help of the 9 of Ron Hornaday.
Yeah, I think Ron Hornaday is committed right now to helping Jason White get that thing towards the front.
As that outside line works, Chris Fontaine will move up. 09 of John West Townley back there fourth in that second line.
Look, they're trying to form a third line. That's Johnny Sauter. He didn't qualify well. We know that he's going to race his way toward the front, and he's got help and is forming a third line trying to get up toward the lead.
Yeah, amazingly enough, Johnny Sauter qualified all the way back in the 29th position.
2 and 3 wide already here, working lap number 7. And at the last restrictor plate, or our tapered spacer racetrack, where bump drafting was imminent, you had to do it. We saw the 13 and the 88 work together. Johnny Sauter, Matt Crafton went to the back and tried to stay out of the big pack, and it almost ended up causing them more problems because they ended up both getting involved in an accident.
But that strategy won't work this year, Rick. If you get far behind, because you can only push another truck for a lap or 2, you won't catch back up until the caution flies. And so I want to stay in the pack. Matt Crafton is racing in the back. It doesn't look like he's in any hurry to get there, but he can't risk losing the draft because he'll go a lap down in a hurry.
Right. I was talking to James Busher in the garage area this morning, and we talked about whether to go back or not. He said, you know, one time we were in a nationwide race on a restrictor plate track. He said there was 4 of us. We were running together. We got ourselves lapped.
Here we go. We got to push the Hornaday.
Jason White making that outside run. The 2 trucks are hooked up. They're making it work on the outside. Jason White and Ron Hornaday pushing to the front.
Hornaday is committed. You nailed it, Rick, and you can see how much these trucks are bobbling around.
They figured it out. They've made it in front of the 3. So now it's Jason White in front of the field at Talladega.
They got up front. Now they can come up unhooked. Ron can cool his engine off a little bit and maybe ride for a while.
And if Jason White's best friend is that yellow line now, he's gotten to the front. He knows Hornaday's fast, maybe even faster than Jason White is. Hornaday, look how hard he can push the back of the 23 truck. They make such progress. If I'm Jason White, I'm going to stay pinned to that yellow line and not let anybody get up beside me.
Look at these guys on the inside right side of your screen are just in line running wide open. Those trucks get hooked together and watch them drive by them.
Ray Dunlap.
Hey, Jason White has to drag his brake a good bit, guys. His truck is so fast. He doesn't want to come out of the throttle much, but he starts to break away from everybody. So he's spending some time with 1 foot on the brake.
Well, he's not doing that anymore, Ray. Once you get in the front, you can see what's coming up the outside. Once you're in front and you're not getting a push, you're off the brake. You're driving your rear end off, trying to hold the lead, but it looks like Kurt Busch is going to push Eric Almirola past him.
Another couple guys that know how to do this and do it a lot.
Eric Almirola, he's hanging out there on the outside line because the guy who got him there wasn't able to clear Jason White, so he's staying out there. That's a good teammate in this situation. He's not going to hang the guy that got him to the front out.
Remember, Eric Almirola finished second twice to the cat that owns that 18 truck running behind him.
What about Rick Crawford? He doesn't race all the time. One of our Truck Series veterans, and he's climbed his way up to battle for this lead. I love that. That's just what's so much fun about Talladega. You never know.
So that's why you've got to stick around. Only 10 laps complete of the 94. Stay with us. Welcome back to Talladega. Out in front of the field, it's the 5 of Eric Almirola. We're underway with the Fretz 250 powered by Coca-Cola here on Speed.
Watch these guys fight back for the bottom of the racetrack. We have the lap truck of Norm Benning on the inside.
That's David Starr in the 81. Just got into the wall moments ago. And that brings out our first caution here at Talladega, so the field will slow down.
Look at Starr's truck. It looks like there's a right front tire problem with it. I don't know if that's a result of contact or if it went down first. We'll be able to tell here. Looks like he blows a right front tire. Does a nice job of not panicking. Just able to barely brush that outside safer barrier.
Yeah, this is the same tire that the Cup cars are running here and have ran here for the last couple of years. So certainly haven't seen any issues with the tires at all. Undoubtedly, David ran over something.
So David Starr gets into the outside wall, brings out caution number 1. 14 laps complete at Talladega. That means 80 laps to go. Welcome back. It looks as though pit road is open, and so Aric Almirola will bring the field onto pit road. Wouldn't expect too many tire changes during this stop, but you never know. We'll go down to pit road. Chris DeVoto leads us off.
Johnny Sauter had been making progress on the track. Now they hope to take time in the pits. Fuel only is the call for the 13 of Johnny Sauter and Joe Shear. They said whoever's up front is going to win this race. Herbie?
Krista, it's going to be fuel only and a slight wedge adjustment for the 18 of Kurt Busch. He told Eric Phillips no problem with the 18 truck. Ray?
Nobody putting tires down on my end, Hermie. I saw the 23 going fuel only. He was loose a little bit. It looks like the 5 will be off pit road first, but a really good move for the 3 team. They've gained a couple of spots on pits going fuel only in the Bass Pro Shop Chevy.
And it looks as though being up front's pretty important. Everyone takes fuel, not too many taking the tires. We'll be back for more. Tomorrow, NASCAR Race Day, get you revved up for the wildest races of the chase. Find out what makes Talladega so dangerous for the chasers. And get exclusive access to Michael Waltrip Racing as Boyer and Truex Jr. prepare to take on the High Banks. NASCAR Race Day, fueled by Sunoco, tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, live on Speed. Welcome back. Fred's 250, powered by Coca-Cola, presented by Royal Purple here on Speed. Let's go back to pit road and Chris DeVoto.
Rick, just want to give you guys a quick update. Matt Crafton, one of the drivers who came back in under this caution to top it off with 1 to go.
I think that might be part of that strategy of hanging around at the back. Might as well have plenty of gas.
Yeah.
And he wasn't planning on going through that pack anyway. You can see Norm Benning there beside Crafton. He's our Aaron's lucky dog recipient, so he'll get back on the lead lap. He made things kind of interesting, didn't he, Phil, when they caught Norm Benning and had to fan out to get around him along about the same time. That's when Starr had a flat tire, but that was kind of crazy.
Yeah, as soon as they got by him, they were diving back for the bottom of the racetrack. Again, as we talk about it, the yellow line is your friend.
Ty Dillon won the race off of pit road, so he is scored as your race leader. Aric Almirola on the outside of row number 1.
We heard some conversation on the radio between the Aric Almirola bunch and the 18 of Kurt Busch's bunch. They're talking about working together this entire race. They may start doing it right here.
Green flag back in the air. Great restart for Ty Dillon. He's going to need help, though. Jason White closing in behind him, but the outside line might work better because the two are already hooked up early. Aric Almirola being pushed by Kurt Busch through 1 and 2.
That's that experience of Kurt Busch. He knew exactly what he needed to do when they threw the green flag. And, you know, a Busch brother and Aric Almirola, that's worked out pretty good over the years.
Pretty good combination, absolutely.
We'll see if it works now. Rocketing down the backstretch. Can both trucks clear that 3 before they move down? Sure enough, they do. Aric Almirola out in front. Kurt Busch running second, and they're pulling away from the field.
That just goes to show you what a Cup driver, such as a guy with the talent of Kurt Busch, he knew to be glued right to the back of Almirola when they threw the green flag. He drove right around Ty Dillon and Jason White because Jason just wasn't there.
And remember, that's 2 Cup drivers working together. Aric Almirola and Kurt Busch nose to tail as they have taken the lead away from Ty Dillon. Dillon tucks in behind the 18 now in 3rd.
Look at that outside line. You have the 9 of Ron Hornaday right behind him. Former Daytona winner Rick Crawford in that 20 truck.
Let me tell you what's going to happen, though, fellas. The more the other drivers see someone like Kurt Busch pushing, or they see Ron Hornaday doing that, they think, I've got to do that to get to the front. I've got to push the guy in front of me. And it's not an exact science. You really have to be precise with your pushes. We know Kurt Busch is a champion. He knows how to do this. We've seen Ron Hornaday work the whole race a year ago by pushing. Some of the more inexperienced drivers try it. Phil, it could cause a big problem.
And we've seen happen before, even in the Cup races. We've seen the very most experienced drivers in the world do it. and sometimes with catastrophic results.
Yeah, if you don't do it right, like when I was coming here to the track today on the highway, we tried some bump drafting with some people that didn't actually know we were going to do it, and they were mad. I mean, there was not one person that was happy about it.
They did not like it, huh?
They didn't like it at all.
Well, you didn't ease into them. You hit
true.
them a little bit harder than they wanted.
That is a good point. Out in front, Almirola, Kurt Busch, Ty Dillon, Jason White, Cale Gale. They're your top 5 right now.
Dale Jr. said I wasn't allowed to bump draft him anymore. I spun too many people out to him.
So it's off limits now.
I know who I can't push.
That 88 car.
Riding along with Top Bodine. You hear him getting out of the throttle so he doesn't get up there and get into that back bumper of the 27.
Yeah, what's he have to gain? I mean, they're in a pack. Even if he did push 27, he didn't have anywhere to go. So right now, you just ride in line. When you get a little bit jiggy and you want to go for it, that's when you hook together on the outside.
And we can see those trucks jumping around a little bit from far away. It doesn't look like they're moving around. You get up close from an onboard, those things are dancing a little bit.
Yeah, remember, over 180 miles an hour around here, and they're within inches of each other. Riding along with Timothy Peters now in 17.
One of our combatants for the championship, and you can see what he's faced with. That's Cale Gale right in front of him. Phil wobbling around, like you said, and he wasn't anyone pushing him. That just shows you these guys have their hands full, and that's what makes the tandem drafting so difficult.
And we talk about this wide open racetrack, talking about these trucks being easy to drive, and they are. Relatively speaking, they're easy to drive.
Did I say that Ron Hornaday knows how to push? He got a buddy, James Busher, pulled up in front of him, and Ron went to push it, and they're going to the lead.
You don't want to be down on the left side pushing, though. Just enough to get out in front of the 5 of Almirola.
Now Almirola moves out of line, and now Rick Crawford is going to come up on the back bumper of that 5 as Almirola drops back.
I don't understand that move by Eric Almirola. He just pulled up and let people pass him, and you want that yellow line. We talked about it being your friend. You want to be right on that baby, and I don't understand what happened there.
And we listened to Eric's radio conversation during our commercial break, and he said his truck was very comfortable with the 18 pushing. I'm not sure why he jumped out of the line either, unless he felt like the 18 was going to go with him again to try to move to the outside and get back by those guys.
James Busher out in front of the field now. Hornaday trying to run second.
Look at Ross Chastain. He's got a hold to the back of Matt Crafton, and they're making that third line work.
The far outside line working together as they're moving up toward the front. Krista.
Miguel Paludo also on the move, getting help and working with his teammate Nelson Piquet. But talk about some experience to help out Miguel Paludo. His spotter is Jeff Gordon's spotter, Eddie DeHaan. His crew chief, longtime veteran in the Truck Series, Jeff Hensley.
Can I explain to you a plan changes in a hurry? We talked about Matt Crafton wasn't planning on going anywhere. Ross Chastain, I don't think, gave him much of a choice. He got a hold of the tailgate of that 88 Menards truck and shoved those guys all the way to the front of the outside line. They came unconnected, and look at them dropping like rocks.
See Crafton in that middle line, and now Almirola has dropped off of the front of the 20 and back into that second line, the 20 of Rick Crawford on the outside of the third line.
Yeah, Almirola now is in front of the 88 of Crafton. There's Johnny Sauter, the 13 Hot Honey's Toyota on the inside. Justin Lofton, the 6 Eddie Sharp truck behind him.
How about a guy like Justin Lofton? Had some troubles crashing some trucks lately, not of his own doing, but has been involved in a wreck. How would you like to come to Talladega on a bit of a wreck streak and think that you just needed to survive, and this is what you're faced with?
We talked about the pack being separated by 2 seconds. Well, once again, the top 29 separated by 2 seconds as they crossed the stripe the last time. 2 and 3 wide, continuing to be the story here at Talladega. It's James Busher, one of our point contenders, leading the field around this super speedway. Welcome back. It's James Busher still out in front in the Fred's 250, powered by Coca-Cola, presented by Royal Purple here on Speed.
Don't you love a good Fred's 250?
Yeah.
It's a good name for a NASCAR race.
I'm guessing right now there's some guys out front that are thinking, boy, I wish this race was shorter. James Busher, Ron Hornaday, Kurt Busch, Ty Dillon, the top 4. Then it's Jay White, Cale Gale, Timothy Peters, Parker Kligerman, Joey Coulter, and Justin Lofton right now scored top 10.
And you see these guys riding along here in line. It's not as easy as it looks. They're having to pedal the throttle. They don't want to get too much momentum. They don't want to run up there and run into the truck in front of them because they're not at at the point where they want to push again. So they're constantly working, adjusting, watching the mirror, making sure somebody's not trying to duck their nose inside of them.
And the reason why things are fairly calm, even though it's looked nutty with them sideways and bumping each other, making those tandem runs, they know there's a long way to go, Phil. And right now, if you're down on the bottom line, your goal is not to push the issue. Just ride in line, be calm, stay right where you are, as opposed to the outside where you want to hook together and try to go past everyone, as we see Johnny Sauter with some help from Almirola do right here. But my point is, as the laps tick down, the sense of urgency goes straight up, it goes out the window at the end, and they start pushing hard, and that's when things get crazy.
Yeah, we have 66 laps to go right now. That's a long way to go. They know there's a couple more pit stops coming. But as you mentioned, we get down towards the end. We know, that, as a matter of fact, the last 10 races on restrictor plate tracks for these trucks, the margin of victory has been less than 1/10 of a second.
It's pretty tight.
Pretty much side by side.
Yeah.
One guy won by 6 inches.
Almirola was out front earlier in this race. He's dropped all the way back to the 10th spot now, Hermie. What's going on with that team?
Yeah, when he made the move to the outside, when the 18 did not go with him, he lost a lot of track position. One byproduct of that, as you see the 5 back in traffic, is that he reported last time by 250 degrees was the water temperature on this 5 truck. So Aric Almirola needs to, as soon as he can, get back towards the front so he doesn't have to stay hooked up all the time to maintain his track position.
And we were wondering why Aric Almirola jumped to the outside like that. Maybe it was a situation where he had to get that nose out in some fresh air because that thing was 250 degrees. He had to cool it off some.
Well, we watched him pushing Johnny Sauter up toward the front. They came unhooked quickly as well. So
Jennifer Jo Cobb was one of the trucks that was in the lead draft. Her side window came out, as you can see right there, passenger window. And NASCAR officials require you to have a window in these trucks at all times.
She was black flag, and it's mandatory that she comes onto pit road and get another right side window put in that truck before she can go back out on the track.
And it looks like the team doesn't have a spare right side window for that truck. That's what's going on. She has to just sit there until they get one. That team is not overly funded. They just struggle to get to the races, and Jennifer Jo does a great job in that truck, but sometimes you don't have all the extra pieces you need when you're struggling a bit.
I was talking to Ty Bodine after our practice yesterday and asking him if he did any of the pushing. He said, well, we have one spare truck between our 3 Red Horse trucks. So he said, we're not going to take any chances doing any pushing in practice.
That outside line once again led by Johnny Sauter. He has Aric Almirola behind him, and the 2 locked up just for a moment there. We'll see if they're trying to get back up to the front. Cruising on the inside line in front of this field, James Buescher leading in Talladega. Welcome back. Second caution has come out. It is Rick Crawford spinning through 3 and 4. It looks as though some of the field making their way onto pit road right now, led by James Buescher. And we go down to the 13 pits with Chris Devoto.
Well, Johnny Sauter is running well on paper, but he is not happy with the truck. When he lost Almirola, the drafting help, he said, I needed to get back low. 2 tires for Johnny Sauter, Hermie.
Chris, that's going to be 2 right side tires for Ron Hornaday. 1 can of Sunoco fuel. A very fast truck. He's able to push anybody gets behind to the front. Ray?
Fuel only for James Buescher. They wanted to clean the grill off. The number 3 truck came in 4th, and he had a good run out. Guys I didn't see, looks like the 3 may have beat him. Last time Ty Dillon came in 5th, went out first. This time from 4th to 1st again.
Good qualifying position, getting a great pit box. Is certainly that team is doing a great job of taking advantage of that.
There's Rick Crawford who caused the caution flag. Take a look right here. You see Rick on the inside. That's Nelson Piquet Jr. going by Chris Jones in the 93, and Rick's going to try to follow him. Didn't quite have him cleared. He tried to jump back down to the inside, made a little bit of contact with Chris Jones's truck. Around he went.
How would you like to be Todd Bodine and see all that mess break out right in front of you? It barely slips by up top.
And the year that Todd's had, you figure he's going to come right back out in front of you, right?
You can see. Wow. Crawford just changed lanes too quickly. He didn't have the 93 of Chris Jones cleared, and he's lucky that all he did was spun around. How about 190 miles an hour down in turn 3, and I'm going to do a 360 or so.
It's a good thing that the entire lead draft was within 2 seconds, because that's about how long it took Rick to spin back up on the racetrack, and the 29 trucks on the lead lap had already gone by him.
And we'd like to apologize. Some of you may have had some issues with the transmission. It's a phenomenon called solar outage, and we hope that it's done now. But thanks for bearing with us. Speed's coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is presented by Royal Purple here on Speed. performance oil that outperforms. Again, our second caution came out for Rick Crawford. Sliding through 3 and 4, and that does happen when you come super speedway racing at Talladega. The green flag coming out once again next. Just back under green, Ty Dillon chose the outside line on the restart. He's got the 18 of Kurt Busch back there to shove him.
And that's simply the reason why he did it, because he knew he had Kurt Busch back there. He would restart behind him and give him a push.
That's what I love about restarts at Daytona and Talladega. You look all around and figure out which way you should go. And in this case, he looked in the mirror and saw Kurt Busch, the experienced veteran, and knew that that push would get him to the lead, and it worked perfectly.
So Ty Dillon back in front of the field. He's got Kurt Busch right on his back bumper. They continue to work through 3 and 4.
First time we've seen Joey Coulter up towards the front. Right now he runs in the 3rd spot with Justin Lofton, the 6 truck, right behind him.
2x2 once again back behind, and then you see Clay Greenfield in the 68 tucked on the outside all by himself.
Yeah, Clay had a great run in Daytona earlier this year with a top 10 finish, his career best.
Timothy Peters now leading that second line in the number 17.
Would you think it's safe to say that the pack racing is back?
Yes, I would say that is an affirmative.
But again, we get down towards the end of this race, and I think you're going to see some guys pair up. They know they can't do it for long, but they know it'll work extremely well for a lap or two.
And they're going to be very aggressive in trying to do that. And what I like right now is, like we saw Matt Crafton, he got a great push from Ross Chastain, I believe, and they went all the way up through the field. I want to know what's going to happen if somebody gets to hold to the back of my truck. What if it isn't handling properly? What if that push crashes me? I mean, what if I have to be really careful when I get a push? So a little bit of experimenting, a little bit of understanding how hard you can push or how hard you can be pushed is valuable right now.
Still holding on to that yellow line up front. It's Ty Dillon back here. Eric Almirola running in the 14th, 13th spot.
Inside of Tim George and the 2 Appleby Chevrolet for RCR. There's Chris Fontaine. Chris had a top 10 at Daytona. We talked about Clay Greenfield a moment ago getting a top 10.
Guy you were talking to before the race in that 29, Ryan Blaney, running up here in the pack.
Been watching Ryan during this race, and he started way back in the 19th position. He just stayed around anywhere from 15th to 19th. Now he's knocking on the door of the top 10.
Doing everything I would have expected that young man to do. I mean, he could get crashed on the next lap. That's the way Talladega is. But he's been really smart about the way he's raced that truck. Learned so much. The experience he's gained, Krista, in these first 30 laps or so has just been amazing.
Absolutely, Michael. Yes, before this restart, they had actually planned on going up in that high line and testing it out like he's doing right now. And he also has a veteran spotter, Joey Meyer, who spots for Brad Keselowski, is very descriptive with Ryan on the radio, not just telling him things like clear middle, but giving him complete sentences, telling him exactly what everyone in the field is doing. I think that information is really helping young Ryan Blaney. I
know you're right, Krista. It's so refreshing to have a spotter like Joey Meyer, like Brett Griffin, some of these guys that have stepped up and have proven that they know what they're talking about. The driver can trust them, understand what they mean, follow those instructions clearly, and it's a calming voice in your ear. It's somebody to reaffirm what you're already thinking.
So much information, a lot of time. Yeah, go ahead, Krista.
Back really quickly. I know you're right, Krista. I think that's what you said.
Yeah, that was right.
You sound like Rick. He always says that.
That's not true. Well, I do say that Krista is always right. The comments that these spotters make, though, not only the clears like we're here, but outside line is coming, or this one has momentum. That's really important for a driver to decide, okay, do I stay in this line or do I choose another?
And we talk about it a lot when right now we have Ty Dillon and Kurt Busch working together. Well, they may get in a situation where they get behind and trying to pass somebody. And it's so important to know that, okay, you're clear of that truck, but he's not clear yet, and you want to make sure he stays behind you.
Yeah, when you work together, you don't want to hang out the guy who gets you to the front. And right now, it looks as though the 31 of James Buescher has some help from the 17 of Timothy Peters. Those two, as well as that 29 of Ryan Blaney, making the outside line work. Creeping up to the front.
Sometimes these guys will look for other like manufacturers. Chevrolet guys may stick with Chevrolet guys. That's the problem that Ryan Blaney has right now. Other than Clay Greenfield, they're the only Rams essentially right now up in this lead draft.
One of the trucks that we talked about being really fast, you can see Justin Lofton kind of crowding over toward James Busher there. You usually like to stay down on that yellow line, and Justin rode up the hill. But one of the trucks we talked about being fast, we saw him up front early. Now it's falling back in the middle of this gaggle of trucks, and that's Eric Amaroli. He's back to the 14th position last time by. You can see him there in the 5 truck. He's down on the bottom of the racetrack, but look at all that activity going on around him.
How about Ryan Blaney, Michael, jumping to the outside to jump out in front of Matt Crafton? Matt's not going to stay there, though. He's going to put Ryan in the middle of a 4-wide situation.
I think Matt made that decision based on who's following him. He and John West Townley had pushed up through there pretty good, and he just said, I'm not going to bail out on my wingman. I'm going to keep John West on my tailgate.
See David Starr in the 88 running right in the middle of the pack. He's 2 laps down, but still, after hitting the wall, having a tire cut down, he's still running right in the middle and up to speed with the rest of these guys.
Yeah, Rick Crawford, that caused our most recent caution, is at the very tail end of this lead draft. Again, running 30th, 2 seconds behind.
And you know there's a good chance that Rick Crawford just catching his breath. He didn't hurt his truck. It's fast enough to stay in the lead pack. But probably not going to take any chances here for a while after that 190-mile-an-hour 360.
2 yellow trucks working together on the high side. Matt Crafton just behind him, the 09 of John West Townley. What are they talking about down there, Ray?
Well, the truck is just a little bit loose, Rick, but they worked on it with air pressure on that last pit stop. Keep in mind, all of my front-running trucks down here have not put on tires at all, but John West Townley went with 4 tires on that last pit stop. That could put them in position to do a little strategy the next time down pit road. Hermie?
Well, Ray, the 22 of Joey Coulter has been quiet but effective. He started 11th, and his team has been really solid on pit road. And another thing I noticed about Joey Coulter, with his lack of experience, he's been very good of getting that truck very fast, very hot into the pit bike without spinning the tires and getting off his pit stops as well. So far, so good today for the 22 of Joey Coulter. Krista?
What about the 2 of Tim George Jr.? He has stayed out of trouble and staying really quiet on the radio. The directions to the driver, stay in the middle. Do not get shuffled out. That is where we need you to be. Just be patient and stay in the middle.
You know, Hermie brought up a great point there that we really have kind of passed over. When no one wants to change tires, they have to make sure they don't slide their tires and lock their tires up coming in, because they could flat spot them and then they would have to change their tires.
That's part of the strategy. That's part of not making any mistakes on pit road. And I think right now, the way the cautions have fallen, you know, you don't want to take the time to put 4 tires on, because you're only going to have less than 1 can of fuel.
Ty Dillon holding on to the top spot. Kurt Busch, Joey Coulter, Justin Lofton, and Jason White still your top 5 here at Talladega Superspeedway. Welcome back. Third caution has come out in the Fred's 250, powered by Coca-Cola, presented on speed by Royal Purple. This time it was, well, one of our favorites for Superspeedway racing. Todd Bodine caught up in it. Ross Chastain in the 08 got a lot of damage from it.
He was getting a push from John West Townley. We heard from Ross's truck saying he just got jacked up. Maybe a bump draft gone wrong down the back straightaway, and it just turned Ross Chastain.
We're watching this now. You see them on the outside line left of your screen there.
And you see John West Townley's on the inside.
He just wasn't square behind him. He got to pushing him, and around he goes. It knocks the 08 of Ross Chastain into the 07 of Johnny Chapman. In turn, it knocks Johnny into the 11 of Todd Bodine.
What about the job that Ross Chastain did, keeping that thing going straight somehow?
So a lot of trucks on pit road once again. Krista.
Johnny Sauter told to stop short to avoid the 32 of Miguel Paludo. They took 2 right side tires on the last stop, so this time they'll take 2 left sides. Hermie?
The 18, Kurt Busch, he'll get 2 right side tires, 1 can of fuel, no adjustment. Ray?
Your screen, you see Justin Lofton. They're going right side tires. He wants to try to stay hooked up with the 18 if he can. It's fuel only for the number 3 once again. So we've had 3 rounds of pit stops. They still haven't changed tires.
Stays out front, at least winning the race off of pit road. Timothy Peters with a good stop on pit road, gets 4 spots, and we look at the damage to the 08 and all the work that they're doing. This is what happened.
Yeah, we were watching this during our commercial break, and I said, boy, I don't know, that's a pretty hard hit from the 09. But again, I don't think Ross was ever straight, and I think John West was moving around on his rear bumper at 185 miles an hour. Even when you're trying to go straight down the straightaway, it's not easy, like we've been talking about.
And then slamming into the 07.
07 going into the 11.
And I just can't tell you, as this race marches on, people are going to get more and more aggressive, and you're going to see more of that.
You know what's a little bit unfortunate, Johnny Chapman in the 07 riding along in that second line. Phil, it was just maybe 2 laps ago when we saw Johnny Chapman turn the fastest lap.
That's right, yeah. Riding about the 20th position.
And we do want to apologize once again. I know people have been experiencing outages. We apologize for that. It is a solar outage that is taking place with the transmission of our broadcast. Bear with us. Tomorrow, immediately following the Sprint Cup race from Talladega, turn to Speed for comprehensive post-race coverage on NASCAR Victory Lane. You can celebrate with the winner as JR, Kenny Wallace, Larry Mack, and Kyle Petty break down all the excitement from the wildest race of the chase. That's NASCAR Victory Lane. Immediately following the race right here on Speed. Who will end up in Victory Lane today? Well, we still have 46 laps to go before that decision is made. 23 came onto pit road, and looks as though they were having some issues down there.
Yeah, let's take a look at it here. See, you see the right front tire is he's not able to get it off. The fenders are so tight, Michael, and a lot of times guys will build those fenders so tight for aerodynamically, but then you run into this problem.
Yeah, and then also, Phil, the shock absorbers can affect whether you can change that tire or not as well. It might hold that tire up in the fender well. So the Cup cars or the trucks, you want to design them as precisely as you can to take advantage of all the aero, but you have to be able to change tires. You got to do it quickly. That's how you win a race. So this team had a tire there, or excuse me, a fender there that was aerodynamically perfect, but it wasn't functional.
Hey, Hermie, what was going on? The 5 was on pit road again.
Yeah, and he's probably going to be coming back to pit road. The transmission is stuck in second gear. You can see the top of the shifter right there for Eric Almirola, stuck in second gear, and that will not get it here at Talladega.
I think they could take that baby and stick it in fourth gear, maybe even third and fourth, Phil. If it's stuck in second, get it out of second, get it over toward the right, get it in third and fourth. And, you know, we have a lot of restarts here at Talladega late in the going, and so that will be devastating when it comes to his chances to win, but he can still be competitive if the team can just get it unstuck.
And right now it may be hung in 2 gears, and that's what they call it. Even though it's in second, it may be hung between the gate.
Aaron's lucky dog goes to David Starr, so he will get a lap back here at Talladega. Monday night, the hub is Chase Central. Larry Mack, Elliott Sadler, and Matt Clark break down round 4 of the championship battle. Plus, get an exclusive inside look back at Talladega with Michael Waltrip Racing All Access. That's NASCAR Race Hub Monday night at 6 Eastern, only on Speed.
That's one look back. I hope it's positive.
This look back isn't going to be positive. We see the 5 behind the wall now. They are having troubles with the transmission for Eric Almirola. He's still in the truck, but they had to come behind the wall to work on this transmission. And so while he is behind the wall, the field 2 by 2 once again coming through the tri-oval, and green flag goes back in the air. Ty Dillon on the inside, Timothy Peters on the outside, Justin Lofton behind Timothy Peters on that outside line, trying to make those 2 trucks work a little bit better on that high line.
Looks like Lofton's hooked to the back of Peters.
We know Timothy Peters knows how to get to Victory Lane on one of these super speedways. He's got to win at Daytona.
He's on down to the line.
And the 2 trucks have made their way down in front of that 3 truck. It looked as though Ty Dillon maybe thought it was too close. He cheated down below the 2 yellow lines, but just to avoid any issues.
Again, the double yellow line is out of bounds. You cannot improve your position by going under the double yellow line.
We'll let you go out of bounds if it's going to help prevent an accident or keep anybody from getting in trouble, but you can't go down there and start passing people. Well, that's a great rule that NASCAR has implemented.
So Timothy Peters had the help of Justin Lofton to get to the front, and now Lofton moves out to that outside line and loses a top 5 position. Here comes Kurt Busch in the 18 on the outside,
with 18-year-old Ryan Blaney pushing him in the 29 truck.
They're 3 wide back there, just in the back half of the top 10. I guess we're pretty accustomed to see them 3 wide. At
5 looks like they've worked on that transmission issue. He's coming back out on the racetrack. He'll be a couple laps down, though, when the field catches him. And they're going to catch him quick.
If they all keep going the right direction, Rick.
That's right.
And that's a big if here at Talladega.
Timothy Peters on the bottom of the racetrack has some help with the 3 of Ty Dillon just behind him. On the outside line, it's the 18 of Kurt Busch and the 29 of Ryan Blaney.
Ryan has the 13 of Johnny Sauter behind him. Two strong lines right now. Look to be pretty even.
Yeah, we saw Justin Lofton pushing down on the bottom. Now he's moved up to the top line and looked like he was going to fall all the way through the field, was able to stabilize, and now running there in the 8th spot, giving a nice push to the back of Sauter.
17 gets out there to about a truck length lead over the 3, and now the pack will fall back in behind.
Yeah, you don't want to get too big a lead. You don't want those guys to have momentum.
You can see Ryan Blaney did that masterfully, like he's been doing it his whole life. Big gap between he and the 18 of Kurt Busch. He closed the distance, just got up and nudged Kurt, gave him that little bit of a push to get him that momentum they need. See if he can continue to learn and continue to do this like a veteran. He's been amazing.
Do whatever you do. I'll tell you if you're clear here.
Steve Bartgall, you're hearing him on the radio. And now it's Kurt Busch that has moved in front of the 17 of Timothy Peters.
How would you like to be Kurt Busch and call your spotter and say, who is that, Steve, pushing me? He's 18.
Is it Dave Blaney? No, that's his son Ryan.
He's 18. He's had a few starts. He won one. I believe he's going to be just fine.
Pushing you, still inside wheel.
Amazing.
Still
enough.
Inside door, 3's connected at 17.
Johnny Sauter looked like thought about making it 3 wide up the middle, and look at the momentum it cost. He got alongside a little bit of Ryan Blaney, and that took all the momentum away from those two.
Did a 3 and the 17 got hooked up for a moment there when they went down into turn number 3. It looked like Ty had a moment for a second. He jumped to the outside a little bit.
Here comes that outside line again, led by Kurt Busch. Here's an amazing statistic. In the top 8 right now, Kurt Busch is the only one who hasn't been to victory lane. Everyone else has won a race this year.
Okay, this is the time when my heart starts beating really fast. I mean, this is getting intense. Less than 40 to go, and these guys are starting to turn up the heat.
Now here was a situation where Kurt Busch got a good shove from Ryan Blaney, was able to get way out in front of Timothy Peters, but Ryan Blaney wasn't able to follow, and so Ryan is on the outside line. Kurt decided to move to the inside line to get in front of the 17, and now here goes Blaney. He's getting a shove from the 13 of Johnny Sauter, now battling for the lead here at Talladega.
2 by 2, both by
18-year-old Ryan Blaney battling Kurt Busch for the lead in a truck race here at Talladega.
Battling for the lead, he just pushed him to.
Out front.
He's the reason why Kurt got the lead, and now he's going to take it away from him.
Across the stripe once they come through the tri-oval. It's still 3 wide. That outside 3rd line led by Jason White.
Ryan Blaney had a huge lead when they got to the start-finish line. 1/1000th of a second.
That must be somewhere around 3 inches.
Yeah, I was going to say, you said it was 6 inches last year was the margin of victory at 2/1000th of a second. There's Brad Keselowski, owner of Brad Keselowski Racing.
He's being truck owner, team owner. We saw him hobnobbing with some of his sponsors during the caution. Now he's climbed up top to watch his truck lead the race. I bet she's looking down at those sponsors winking right now and saying, how about that, boys?
I told you we could do it.
Ryan Blaney, again, the 18-year-old on the outside, riding along in that 29 truck for Brad Keselowski Racing.
Watch on the outside now. Jason White, just about from the drop of the green flag for this restart, has jumped up to the high side trying to make something happen. They had that bad pit stop, lost all his track position now. He's trying to make his way to the front in the 3rd lane.
You know, Kurt Busch leading this race on the bottom of the track has a teammate in the field. As a matter of fact, Herman Quiroga is currently running in the 10th spot, a top 10 run for Herman Quiroga here in the Truck Series at Talladega.
Well, that can change so fast here.
Johnny,
you can
sure
be running 25th and then be in the top 10. And you can be running 10th and be running 25th the next lap.
We've completed 57 laps, 37 remain. Ryan Blaney.
Johnny's worked with you up there.
That's the front of that truck, just in front of the 18 of Kurt Busch. Now Kurt Busch trying to rally back on the inside as they work their way back into the tri-oval here at Talladega.
Remember, a lot of experience on the spotter stand for the 29 of Ryan Blaney. Joey Meyer, Brad Keselowski's spotter in the Cup Series, is up there doing the job for him.
And there's a lot of information that he has to give to that young man leading this race. Not only what is it, not what's in front of him, but what's going on behind him.
All right, guys, I just saw steam coming out of the 13 of Johnny Sauter. So he's been pushing the 29, a little bit of steam coming out there. They're going to need to get some air to that truck.
Yeah, and he can usually manage that pretty well. Just roll off the back of the 29, but you can see Sauter's still pretty comfortable with pushing the 29 of Blaney.
Clear low. He's being pushed as well. clear low. The 13 is going to stay
three
outside.
trucks clear the 18 of Kurt Busch, so Ryan Blaney drops to the bottom. Now Johnny Sauter will take over the point. He has help from Justin Lofton.
Johnny probably figures the best way to get a bunch of air in the grill is be out front.
And that's exactly what's
Ryan Blaney sideways.
And he's down on the apron. He's got to hang on to it.
Miguel Paludo ran him down on the apron. What a great job by Ryan Blaney. He took evasive action because Paludo changed lanes and ran him off the road.
He goes from race leader to back probably about 20th.
But he did it. That's great. We still have a pack of trucks racing. That was a close call right there.
He got down to the apron, didn't panic. He just drove it down there when he had room at the exit of the trial oval to get back up on the racetrack. He just eased her back up on there.
Now the truck in front of this pack is Eric Almirola. They are catching him. Almirola right now being scored 3 laps down. If the field catches him, which it's about to do, they're going to put him 4 laps down.
And they're going to be 4 wide too, Rick. This is a really tough part of the race. You don't want to be 4 wide in the trial oval, and that's what will happen.
Goes
watch your front.
Donnie Neuenberger. Looks like Donnie Neuenberger. He slides into the 30 of Nelson Piquet Jr., hits him hard. A few trucks make their way down pit road.
That's exactly what happened. It wasn't anything that Eric Almirola did wrong, but it just creates a situation where people start moving out of their lines, and this is the result.
So hard hit to the 30 of Nelson Piquet Jr. after celebrating 1 week ago. One of the best passes we've seen this year. Now he has damage to the right side of that truck that might not be fixable.
Yeah, it looks like maybe the rear end housing has been. There's Donnie Neuenberger. Donnie had done a nice job staying up in the lead draft this entire race. A pretty rare start for Donnie. Tough break.
Just the 4th caution coming out. Take another look. The 1 of Donnie Neuenberger comes down, slams into the 9, back up into the wall. And now
that started when Neuenberger just got up too high on the racetrack, had to pull his truck away from that outside line of trucks, and he got sideways. Just a mistake there in heavy traffic, and that's what we talked about. When they caught the lap truck, things get really close and
tight. They just bunch up. Look at the damage to Chris Fontaine's Toyota.
Chris Fontaine normally has such good finishes at these super speedway races, and doesn't look like it's going to happen today for him at Talladega.
We've got 34 laps to go now. We talked about the pit window being somewhere between 30 and 35. I think everyone comes to pit road this time, maybe even comes back in to top it off to make sure they have enough fuel. This may be the last time on pit road.
Saw Nelson Piquet Jr. out of his truck. Donnie Neuenberger wild coming out of turn number 4, bringing out our caution. Welcome back. Field on pit road. Krista.
Johnny Sauter, the directions again. Stop short. We got to watch out for that 32 of Miguel Paludo, and he is gone. Hermie.
The 18 will be no tires, fuel, a little wedge adjustment, and a windshield tear-off only for Kurt Busch. Ray?
Justin Lofton comes in second. They're going to put fuel in his truck. He said he want to make sure they save tires for later. In pit stall number 1, Ty Dillon will finally get right side. He will get his tires in Sunoco fuel. Looks like he'll roll out about 7th or 8th.
Same issue for Ty Dillon that Jason White had. It looked like he had trouble getting the right front tire off that 3 truck.
All right, before this caution came out, there was a pretty wild ride for the 29 of Ryan Blaney, and you were talking about it, Michael.
Yes.
How he had to take evasive action to stop the big one from happening.
Watch as they approach the trial oval. Look at the 32 of Miguel Paludo. He came over to the left. The 29 of Ryan Blaney was already there. They made contact. He went to the apron, and everybody else had to scramble behind him. 4 or 5 trucks back. When something goes wrong, the whole world seems like it's coming to an end. Look at all that.
What heads-up move by Kurt Busch, though, to give him the room to get down there. And then Kurt moved back up the racetrack as much as he could to give Ryan that bottom lane if he needed it.
And there's a young man who's going to be able to go ahead and continue challenging and win this race because of a great job of driving and a great job of spotting. Let's listen in to Joey Meyer.
Clear. Middle lane is clear. The middle lane has the 18 up here pulling it. Way up here in front of you. Watch your front, watch your front, watch your front, watch your front, watch your front. Go, logo, 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 logo. Wow. Wow. A nice job, man. Hell of a job. Caution is out. Back it down. When you see the replay of that, you'll take a breath.
And what about Joey? Go, go, go. He knew it was important for him to get over there, and that's exactly.
And if Ryan had gone maybe 2 feet less low than he did, he's in that wreck.
Would have got clipped by Donnie Neuenberger coming down the racetrack. So the 29 still alive. on the track. We've seen a couple trucks caught up in this. The 30 is one of them. Nelson Piquet Jr. had some issues, and also Ron Hornaday involved in this. What's going on with that team, Hermie?
Yeah, Rick, extended time on pit road for the 9 of Ron Hornaday Jr. A little bit of damage to the right side. It looked to be mostly in between the wheels, so maybe nothing as far as the chassis is concerned, but an extended stay on pit road, repairs to the right side. Also, the 7 truck, Parker Kligerman, came in. He's about the only one on my end of pit road other than Ron Hornaday that got 4 tires. Kligerman had been complaining about a vibration prior to the caution coming out, so those 2 guys are going to be starting at the tail end of the lead lap.
Thank you, Hermie. 31 laps remain in this one. And we're guessing that it might get a little crazier still. With the playoffs in full swing, the league's best teams will look to the brightest stars to make the next unforgettable play that will lead them to the NLCS and move them one step closer to the World Series. Legends are born in October. Our exclusive coverage of baseball's postseason begins Sunday, October 14th, with Game 1 of the NLCS only on Fox.
See Chipper Jones there. What a great season. What a great career he had.
Definitely.
Yeah. And what
over
about
20 years with the Braves.
When I was a kid, Reggie Jackson was Mr. October.
Yep.
I used to love fall when it was time for the playoffs.
I think Reggie Jackson still is Mr. October. I don't think you can ever take that title away from that man.
What about Justin Verlander?
Pretty good. Krista.
Last week his day ended in Victory Lane. This week its day ends in the Care Center. Any other sport that takes you through the range of emotions, high to low, this week to last?
Well, I don't think it's a sport. I think it's this track and Daytona. These super speedways are just complicated, and you know, maybe my fault because I was a bit pessimistic arriving over here, but I've never had much luck on the super speedways. The only time I had luck, and I think it was because the track was good, was Daytona in 2010 when the track was still a bit rough. So anyway, it's one of those deals. I mean, I don't like this place. I don't like the way it happens. So
we're glad you're okay. Thanks, Nelson.
Might have had the option to dive down pit road there, Phil. He's over that way. If he just, his spotter had said, go low, go to pit road, he could have maybe got by, but he looked like he was trying to merge back up on the track, and it crashed.
Justin Lofton, Miguel Paludo, 1 and 2 now as they bring the field through the tri-oval. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway. Lofton on the inside, Paludo on the outside. Timothy Peters back behind Lofton.
Pair of Chevrolets up front right now. Chevrolet's only won 1 time on restrictor plate racetracks in the last 11.
Trying to change that statistic. We got Jason White back behind the 32 of Miguel Paludo, pushing the outside line.
Wow, look at those guys. They just know that time's ticking and they have to position themselves toward the front if they're going to win this, baby. There's Jason White giving Paludo a shove, like you said, Rick.
Again, I think most of these trucks pitted on lap number 62. That left them with 32 laps to go. I think it puts all of them in their pit window. But you certainly can't bank on not having a green-white checker here, can you?
And I don't think you can bank on not having another caution.
Oh, exactly.
I think you're exactly right, Rick. A couple of trucks took the wave around. We saw Eric Almirola in the pit with some problems. He's only 3 down now. And David Starr ran into the wall. He's gotten both of his laps back, and now he's on the lead lap. So Starr had some troubles early, but he's still got a chance to get up and make a run at this baby.
Brian Silas right now would be in the position for the Aaron's Lucky Dog. He's the highest scored lap down truck. He's running 26th.
Ooh, so Miguel Paludo is going all the way to the back.
Still on the bottom of the racetrack. Justin Lofton in the 6. Has help from the 17 of Timothy Peters. Right behind Timothy, Kurt Busch in the 18. Jason White now out in front of that second line.
Yeah, you know, Jason, he seems to want to run a little bit higher, whether he's on the bottom of the track or even in that second line. We saw him sort of up the hill there. That opened the line on the inside for Johnny Sauter to get on the inside of Quiroga, because Quiroga was just following Jason, and it took his partner away, and Hermain going all the way to the back of the field. So, like to see Johnny, you see how Jason White's a little high right there? I'd like to see him down on the left side of those, excuse me, on the right side of those trucks to the inside. First of all, not giving anybody a lane there, but second of all, you can side draft. Maybe pull up a little bit by using those trucks on the inside.
And now the two hooked together with the momentum on that high line. Trying to make up some ground. Johnny Sauter doing the work, pushing from behind. Jason White falling back just a little bit now.
See Ty Dillon put right side tires on during that pit stop. Lost a little bit of track position. Has made his way back up into the top 5 here.
Runs right behind the 31 of James Busher. Now, what does that do for point implications? It puts him back at 1 point separating 2 as they run on the racetrack.
Ty Dillon's led 24 laps. He's led the most. James Busher has led the second most at 12.
I can't believe someone's been in one spot for 20-some laps. I don't remember it happening. These cats have been all over the place.
And pushing taking place in the back of the field here. The 88 of Matt Crafton.
3 distinct lanes of pushing back there on the back side of the racetrack.
The 20 of Rick Crawford back in contention on the high side. He's right behind the 13 of Johnny Sauter.
There's Jason White. Now he's going to jump to the high side, get in front of Matt Crafton. Jason had drifted all the way back. Remember, he was up side by side with the 5th place truck just a few moments ago. Now he's well outside the top 10.
So the inside line has pulled away now of the outside line. They've tucked in about 12 deep on that low line, led by Justin Lofton. Timothy Peters, Kurt Busch, James Busher, Ty Dillon, your top 5. Coulter, John West Townley, Ryan Sieg, Parker Kligerman, and Ron Hornaday. They are your top 10 at Talladega. 25 laps to go. A nail biter once again at Talladega for the Camping World Truck Series. Who's going to end up in victory lane? A lot of racing still to go. Welcome back. Green flag staying in the air for the Fred's 250, powered by Coca-Cola, presented by Royal Purple here on Speed. Justin Lofton out in front. Timothy Peters, Kurt Busch, James Busher, Ty Dillon still your top 5. Not a lot's changed in the top 10.
Yeah, let's talk about Justin Lofton a little bit. Justin is a former winner here in the ARCA Racing Series. As we see John West Townley make his way off pit road, he had a flat right front tire. His Zaxby's guys got that changed. But Justin Lofton finished 3rd at Daytona this year. He knows how to get it done this type of racing.
We saw him in a spectacular crash at Vegas last time out, and that thing almost turned over on the front straightaway. So now he's got a clear view out the windshield of that Chevrolet. That's got to be a good feeling for Justin.
And Eddie Sharp Racing hoping to turn things around, get back on the right track. And right now it looks as though they're doing just that. We see Jason White making the move to the outside to make it 3 wide. Ryan Blaney in front of the middle line here at Talladega. Talk about rookies at this racetrack. Ramon Quiroga in the 51 behind the 32. Watch the 32's hands. You're not supposed to move the wheel a lot here at Talladega, I didn't think.
That's when bump drafting goes bad, is when you have a couple of guys, especially Quiroga hadn't done this a whole lot, and he wasn't doing a very good job of pushing Miguel Pluto, and he's right behind him again.
And you've got the 29 of Ryan Blaney just in front of that group.
But he seems to figure this stuff out pretty quickly.
Here's John West Townley, and I think that him staying on the high side is probably going to make things a little easier than if he was on the bottom and they had to make their way around him. Yeah, Ryan Blaney's going to use a little bit of the draft off the 0-9.
Trying to get that second line to move now, as the inside line has been the dominant line here at Talladega, but we have seen guys make the outside line work here if they work together.
And they're going to make it work again, Rick. There's no way you can just camp out on the bottom of this racetrack and think you're going to go to victory lane. They're going to get a push on you around the outside. You're going to have to be high or low. You've got to be ready to go anywhere if you're going to defend your lead here.
And it may be your partner running second that's going to pull out a line and lead the group by you on the high side.
We saw Ryan Blaney down on the apron in the tri-oval, just trying to save his truck, and now he's just slowly and methodically, with a little bit of help from Pluto, a little bit of help from Quiroga. There's Matt Crafton. They're slowly pulling their way to the front in that outside line.
You see Ryan pulling a little bit closer to that inside line. We saw Jason White leaving a little more gap there. Looks like Ryan's doing pretty well here. He's inside the top 10 now.
Hermie.
Look at the 39 of Ryan Sieg, guys. I know we talk about Talladega and the draft being the great equalizer, but it's a great opportunity for a driver like Ryan Sieg and this race team to hang in here and get a good solid finish. And right now, he's holding his own inside the top 10. Krista?
Hermie, right now, Miguel Paludo in the number 32 is pushing Ryan Blaney on the outside, that outside lane. Trouble on the track.
Around goes the 9 of Hornaday. Again, had issues with the right side of that truck earlier when Donnie Neuenberger got into the right side.
Ron was still up in the top 10 right there.
That was maybe a little bit of bump drafting that went wrong because Hornaday just got squirted to the apron of the racetrack. It's like he's got a flat right rear, but he slid forever with the brakes on. Great job by Ron keeping that thing out of the wall. See if we can see what happens.
He's on the inside.
Oh, things just turned with him.
Looked like maybe he might have cut a tire down then, a rear tire, and it turned him down towards the inside of the racetrack. He did a nice job of keeping that truck halfway straight.
Looked like the left rear was low when he slid sideways.
That's a great job of driving there by Hornaday.
He just never quits on it. He keeps steering, keeps driving. He locks the brakes up, lets off the brakes, trying to get the thing to go straight.
Watch how quick this happens. He's minding his own business, running through the tri-oval, and wham!
That was a shock to him as well as it was to us. I think you're right, Rick. That left rear tire was low right there.
Saw it down low there as he finally caught the number 9. But that brings out the 5th caution at Talladega. Just 18 laps to go. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is presented on speed by Royal Purple, the performance oil that outperforms. And brought to you by Camping World and Good Sam. Everything for the RV lifestyle, including RVs, accessories, warranties, insurance, and roadside assistance. Under our 5th caution at Talladega Superspeedway. A bit of overcast skies atop. That's where we are, by the way, that booth up top that you're looking at, I think. Aren't we up there?
No.
Where are we?
We're the blue one.
We're at the start finish line.
Oh, okay.
That was a tri-oval.
Gotcha. We're not there.
I love when people have to ask where they are.
I know we're up high. Inside of 16 laps to go. Lofton out in front.
You know, there's been a caution flag at every single truck race at Talladega with inside of the last 10 laps. Every single one.
Listen to the back half of this top 10. Ryan Sieg, Ryan Blaney, Miguel Paludo, Quiroga.
Herman Quiroga.
Herman.
How about going to Herman down on pit road?
Let's go to Hermie. Hermie pit road.
Hey, I'll answer to most anything. Hey, the 7 truck, Parker Kligerman, that just came back to pit road, they changed the battery in that 7 truck. The gauges were all over the place. We talked about a vibration earlier. So a multitude of problems for the 7 truck, but he hopes to be able to be good to go to the finish. Also, the 18 of Kurt Busch on the racetrack. He has been talking and communicating with Justin Lofton, and Justin Lofton is taking the inside so that he can line up in front of the 18 and hoping the 18 can push him to the front on this restart.
He's been doing some serious pushing this race, and he knows how to do it.
Well, October 20th, the $1 million is up for grabs. Yeah, that's right, $1 million up for grabs as the two-wheeled heroes of dirt clash for the cash in Las Vegas. With this much money on the line, it's guaranteed to be a fight like no other. Don't miss the Monster Energy Cup live from Las Vegas, October 20th, 10 Eastern, only on Speed.
Now, you just want to make a note. You saw Parker Kligerman drop outside the top 20 here with 15 to go. That is not a death sentence. He can still race that baby to the front. Got a fresh battery and some renewed life and energy. But, Phil, where do you want to be right now? Do you think the guys running 1, 2, 3 have this baby in their hands, or are you going to the winner going to come from outside the top 10?
They don't have it in their hands, but I think that's where I want to be because of who's up there. We've seen James Buescher, who's running 3rd right now, run up front the entire running 4th right now, been up front the entire time. Kurt Busch, probably more experienced than anybody in the field. He's up there right in great position. So I think you want to be around those kind of trucks. Timothy Peters has done a great job. He knows how to win at one of these races, as does Justin Lofton. So it's no secret that the guys that know how to get it done are putting themselves in position towards the end of this race to have a shot at it.
I still think that the guy in 23rd or 24th still has a shot at it.
Well, and I wouldn't argue that, Rick, especially since one of those trucks is Parker Kligerman. We saw Ryan Hackett of all, he ran the fastest lap of the whole race. Where's he running? He's running in 19th position, the fastest lap today for that young man.
Green flag back in the air. Justin Lofton, Timothy Peters, Kurt Busch, James Busher, your top four. Those four working together. Down on the bottom, it's Kurt Busch pushing the 6 of Lofton.
And if we could just figure out some way to get Jason White a push, we know how fast that 23 truck is. You see him on the high side there. He restarted back in the 17th place. Maybe Parker Kligerman can use Jason White. He's using him well right now, and those boys can go to the front.
Look at the momentum they have. They're driving all the way up inside to the top 5.
Ryan Blaney sees that, tries to duck in behind those two, but the two tucked together have worked well, and they have the momentum now on the high side. Here comes the 23 of Jason White.
How about from 17th to 1st in one lap? Is that possible?
Where was Parker Kligerman? 22nd or 23rd on the restart?
And it looks as though the 23 is going to continue that momentum. He doesn't get to the lead, but he's second as they cross the stripe, and now he's the leader.
He's leading right now.
Okay, I asked you, did you want to be 1st and 2nd and maybe win this race? How about you want to be 1st and 2nd and be leading in a lap or two? Those cats were outside the top 15, and now they're leading the race.
In a hurry.
And now looking out, trying to get a little air on the grill.
1800
was that 7
in line with
Parker
you, man.
Kligerman, and Lofton gets hung out, and he goes to the back.
Boy, Lofton's going to need some help now. He needs for somebody to come up and push him. He's going to be outside the top 10 before they get there, and Crafton has so much momentum, he's just going to drive by on the outside.
They were going way too fast when they came up to the back bumper of Justin Lofton.
And I want to see Jason White now. Show me that yellow line. Keep that 23 truck pinned to that yellow line and make them go around the outside of you. Oh, they probably will go around the outside of them, but don't let them put you in the middle. Don't get off the yellow line, Jason.
Right now,
stay right on the
he's
yellow,
making
man.
that truck
Right on the
wide
yellow.
as they work through 1 and 2. And we just heard the spotter say, stay right on that yellow line.
Remember earlier when I said they're running respectfully in line, they're not going to be put, there he is. He's given Parker Kligerman room to get on the bottom of him, and I don't like that.
Well, remember, you can't pass on the inside or below the double yellow line, so you can't improve your position. So as long as he hangs on to that yellow line as much as he can't allow anybody to go below him.
I'm not sure why he's even flirting with it.
There's no reason. We've got to keep her over to the left. Get on him, spotter.
And there's no reason right now for Parker Kligerman to look to the inside of that double yellow line because he can't pass him.
As much as he's flirting with moving up a lane, you never know when, oh, we got a spinner.
Ron Hornaday through the infield once again in the 9. That brings another caution out. Caution 6 here at Talladega.
And we will have a caution inside of the last 10 laps because we will not restart this race till inside of 10 laps. Every single time we've been here.
Well, this makes 8.
Yeah.
Now the right rear tire is gone on that truck. Ron's probably getting tired of spinning around.
Yeah, this is the 7th Talladega race, and it is the 7th time we will have a caution inside of 10 laps to go.
Half the time we've had a pass for the lead on the last lap. See Ron down on the inside. See what happens to Ron here.
Running by
the right rear tire is flat.
Right rear tire has come off. He slides through the grass back onto the apron.
I'm telling you, 51-time winner shouldn't have to go through what Ron's going through today.
Window tear off, trying to come off as well. He's got everything coming off of his truck right now. So the tire shredding, the right rear coming off of the 9 of Hornaday. He brings out caution 6 from Talladega. Out in front, it's Jason White. Now Parker Kligerman, who was pushing him, will have to go to the high side. It depends on which truck Jason White wants to be in front of. He's got Kurt Busch potentially behind him if he stays on the bottom.
I want Kurt Busch to push me. He's the guy that is the most aggressive. He's the guy that understands how to push those trucks properly. I want him on my side.
Yeah, I'm going to restart on the inside if I'm Jason White. That will line Kurt Busch up right behind me. But Timothy Peters knows how to do it too, as does Parker Kligerman, and they'll be on the outside teammates. So it should be a great restart.
You think Parker Kligerman knows how to do it? He pushed Jason White all the way to the lead from outside the top 20 in just over a lap.
As you can see, Parker Kligerman has had 5 second-place finishes. That's the most in the history of this series without getting a win. Jason Leffler had 6 second-place finishes before he finally was able to get a win at Dover a few years ago.
Ray, tell us a little bit about that 23 of Jason White.
Exactly what you guys were talking about. They had a pretty long debate here because he was so happy with Kligerman back there. Didn't want to hang him out, but they believe Kurt Busch has the very best opportunity of pushing them hard and keeping them at the front. So White will take down on the bottom side, and that will put teammates to the high side. Now keep in mind, I talked about our practice here yesterday. Kurt Busch was one of those trucks that got pushed around this track a bit. Jason White was not. Krista?
Ray, Doug Randolph, crew chief for young Ryan Blaney, said, how have you felt? Comfortable today pushing? Ryan said, yeah, I guess so. Doug Randolph stepped off the pit box, walked down pit road. I am following him, and he looks like he is going to be stopping at the 27 pit of Cole Witt.
Cole knows how to push.
Yeah.
Cole's a racer. He'll figure it out. Heck, everybody's got to know how to push now. It's time.
With just 10 laps to go, let's take a look at our Duplicolor time to shine moment that has already taken place. We'll see if there's another one at the end, but
look at them forming up right there. What are they running, Bill? 20th?
At least 20th. Probably outside, you know, just outside the top 15 at any rate. They hook up here and watch how many trucks they go by. There's 2, 4, 8, 9.
I'll bet by the time it's over,
10.
they'll have passed all of them.
Yeah, every single one of them.
What a great move, though. I love that.
192 miles an hour, those two paired up, making the move on the high side. And just past the start-finish line, the 23 of Jason White took over the lead from Justin Lofton.
What an outstanding job.
The moment of the race. And they did it on the high side.
They sure did. They made the high side work together. And right there, Jason White has his shining moment. The shining moment brought to you by Duplicolor's new Tire Shine 5 times.
Jason restarted 17th. Parker restarted 21st.
Jay White out in front of the field. He has 5 starts here at Talladega. Best finish of 5th. Hermie.
Well, Rick, right here is a shot of Eric Phillips on top of the 18 pit box. And in the last 2 minutes, he's had visits from representatives from Jason White's team, number 23, and from James Buscher's team, number 31. And I'm not sure exactly what they asked, but he nodded yes to both of them. So should be interesting to see what the 18 does. Krista?
Well, Hermie, keep an eye out on the 27 of Cole Witt and the 29 of Ryan Blaney. After Doug Randolph spoke with the 27's crew chief Jason Overstreet, the word is Cole does want to work with Ryan Blaney, so look for those 2 trucks to hook up as well.
You know, the thing I like about the 18 of Kurt Busch, he's pushed who's ever been in front of him. He hasn't played favorites. It's whoever has been in front of him, he's helped.
That's because all he wants to do is win. He's not worried about any points. He's not worrying about a popularity contest. He's going for the win.
Remember at the beginning, unpredictability. Predict. Will there be another caution?
Yes. Maybe 2.
Stay with us. Check out and subscribe to our NASCAR mobile alerts. Get the latest NASCAR race results and breaking news sent right to your phone. Text NASCAR to Speed 3 for Speed NASCAR text alerts driven by Good Sam Roadside Assistance. Beautiful view of Talladega Super Speedway, a Camping World heaven here at this racetrack.
You know, I'm going to have to say that Jason White might be a genius. Talked to him last night. He said, I just need to be out front and I'll win this race. I'll be darned. He's out front. I mean, he was running 20th a lap or 2 ago, but he's out front now. He called his shot. He's like Denny Hamlin.
Or Babe Ruth.
Yeah, that guy.
Calling their shots. How about our championship hunt? We talked about the Tower Points Super Speedway unpredictability. Well, that has come to fruition, as well as strategy. And how do you play strategy at this racetrack?
Well, we said you have to be in position when you get down towards the end, towards the last lap. Now, we didn't say that with 10 laps to go, you could be 17th and 21st and make your way to the front in the space of 1 lap. And those guys did that, Parker Kligerman and Jason White.
So what do these next 7 laps have to hold? Where are they going to come from next?
Well, we're going to have a caution or 2, probably.
Ray, what's happening with James Buscher?
Well, he's kind of hung out to dry right now, Rick. He has been searching around with all the trucks that are right in his neighborhood, and he cannot find a partner. Everybody's kind of spoken for. He figures the 7 and the 17 are going to be together. He knows he can't partner up with the 3 or the 51. They've been talking up in the spotter stand, but so far he's not sure if anybody will go with him.
That's a lonely feeling, but Ray, they're fixing to get desperate, and if he can just find somebody that gets ditched by his buddy, there's going to be people to push for sure.
And things are about to heat up.
I know, and I'm nervous.
We have 6 laps of racing to go when they get to the stripe. The race leader is Jason White. Parker Kligerman will be on his outside for this restart.
Can I remind you, this could be dangerous too? I mean, these trucks are going to run over 190 miles an hour. We heard Jason White over 192 taking the lead. They're going to be pushing and shoving at a high rate of speed.
This is why we love coming to Talladega Superspeedway.
We were doing the first cup practice yesterday, and Greg Biffle said running in the big pack was a lot of fun because everyone was given a lot of room and stuff. That's not going to happen now. No one's going to be giving anybody any room.
Field coming back through the tri-oval. Led by the 23 of Jason White. Parker Kligerman on the outside. Jason White's help, the 18 of Kurt Busch. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway.
He told you.
Get to the bottom, Jay White.
You're off of him. Back up to him. Back up to him. One outside.
The trucks on the outside are hooked together.
Stay right on that yellow, man.
Teammates working together.
Right up to
Looks
you.
like Kurt Busch has now gotten to the back of Jason White, and they're together.
Right back on him, man.
Got RCR teammates hooked up on the outside. Ty Dillon, Joey Coulter. They duck in now behind the Red Horse trucks.
Still a lot of racing to go. Over 6 laps remain here at Talladega. The 2 on the bottom have pulled away from the pack, as have the 2 on the top.
But they can't run 6 laps together, I don't believe, Phil, so they'll have to break apart at some point. Who's going to time their tandem drafting correctly?
We saw the 2 break up on the high side. Parker Kligerman and Timothy Peters, they dropped down to the bottom of the racetrack. Still hooked up in front, Jason White and Kurt Busch. 5 laps to go.
I believe if I was Kurt Busch, I might take a break right here, maybe cool my engine down a little bit. If they've got to bust apart way ahead of the pack will have such a run on them. But, you know, I watched Kurt Busch win down at Daytona in the Nationwide race. He didn't have any water left in his car when they threw the checkered flag. That baby was blown up, but he won the race. Does he have the same strategy here?
The 2 trying to separate themselves, but it's only a matter of time, as you mentioned, before the heat goes up on that 18 truck, and he'll have to break away from the 23 of Jason White. 2 and 3 wide back behind him.
You see guys trying to make something happen to the very pack. It's very difficult for the Red Horse trucks running 3rd and 4th to make any ground up. Now they have come apart.
The top 2 have separated. So Jason White in front of the 18 of Kurt Busch. 4 laps of racing to go.
And look at our 2-point leaders. You think you're not just desperate to get any help you can get? Those are the 2 running 1-2 in the championship battle.
And they're working together now. The big move. Out of line is the 7 of Parker Kligerman. He moves up to the high side. Doesn't have any help.
Look at the run on the outside for the RCR trucks.
Here comes the 3 of Ty Dillon pushing.
2 wide.
They go to the front of the field.
It's still 2 wide.
That's actually James Busher in the Turner truck and Ty Dillon in the RCR truck.
Okay.
Busher in front of the field.
Easy.
Now Ty Dillon ducks down low.
Get inside.
He's able to stay just behind the 31 as Busher comes down to hug the yellow line.
We talked about the momentum that everyone else would have when they came unhooked. That's what gave the lead to James Busher.
Through the tri-oval. Now the top 2 separated as they come to the stripe. 3 laps of racing to go from Talladega.
Where's Jason White and Kurt Busch going to go? They're going to get hooked up. They're going to try to go by on the outside.
Maybe just wait a lap here, Phil. Maybe let Jason White back up to Busch and see if they can tie it together and keep it all the way to the checkers.
Timing is everything. Will they be able to move out of line? Because here comes the second line. They're starting to move. Parker Kligerman. Johnny Sauter making that second line work.
Oh, this is good stuff, and it's tense, too. These guys are all over one another.
Coming out of turn number 4, looking into the tri-oval. Crowd on their feet here at Talladega.
How about Amon Quiroga running up in the top 10 on the inside behind Timothy Peters?
Through the tri-oval. In front, it's James Busher. Ty Dillon, 1 and 2. 2 laps of racing to go.
Looks like maybe Busch is going to get a hold to the back of Jason White.
They need to go while they have room to get to the outside before that outside line gets there.
Separation still between the top two.
I want to go now, Phil. I'm ready.
Yeah, I think we got to go now.
Well, they work together again. The top two in points, running 1 and 2. Now, all the way up away from the double yellow line as they enter 3 and 4. Here comes the outside line. Parker Kligerman making it work with help from Johnny Sauter.
It's amazing that outside line was able to get the momentum they did.
Here they come through the tri-oval. This time by, white flag will fly. They're side by side, and the 31 of James Busher gets shoved out of the way. Here comes the 3 of Ty Dillon.
Ty's able to get back down to the white line. How about Ryan Blaney now battling for third?
Here comes Ty Dillon, a little wiggle out of the 29. The next flag that flies is the one that will determine the winner of this race.
Can't believe they made it through turn 2.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That 4 trucks. Now they wreck.
And now they're going to wreck behind them. Trucks sliding all over. Will the caution come out, though?
No caution yet.
No caution. They're still... And the caution comes out. Now the caution comes out. In front of the field is Parker Kligerman.
Take your position.
Parker Kligerman is going to win his first ever Camping World Truck Series race, and it's going to come at Talladega Superspeedway.
Being in the right place when it got down towards the end of the race, Parker Kligerman was, with a lot of help from that 13 truck.
We didn't have any idea that with 10 to go, the right place was going to be 21st position. That's the only thing we didn't have figured out. But we knew you could win from anywhere.
This is the best damn team in sports right now. Tom DeLoach, thank you, Camp Horse around.
How about right there?
Thank you,
are your top
daughter.
4 in points were the top 5 that crossed the stripe. A big, big day for Busher, Ty Dillon, points-wise. Kligerman wins this race, and you see the carnage behind. This is what took place on the backstretch.
Pretty good 300th start for Red Horse Racing.
Hermie.
Chad Kendrick, 2 for 2 on the speedways this year. Win number 1 for Kligerman and start number 300 for Red Horse Racing.
Yeah, I just want to thank Red Horse Racing. This is a true team effort. All 3 teams work together all weekend. Butch Hilton, Rick Gay, and this is for Tom DeLoach's 300 and Parker Kligerman's first win. So I don't know what to say. This is awesome. It's really awesome.
That's Parker Kligerman. He's going to victory lane with Chad Kendrick.
And remember, the super speedway races have been dominated by Red Horse Racing. They win the first race of the year, and now they win the second super speedway race here at Talladega.
I was really amazed that the field was able to get through 1 and 2 on that white flag lap. And then unfortunately they didn't make it down the back straightaway. But what an outstanding job by Parker Kligerman. He's been knocking on the door. We just showed the fact that he had 5 second place finishes, had not got to victory lane. He's going to get there today.
We saw Parker Kligerman push to get 2 trucks up to the front, and he's the benefactor at the end. He will get his first win in the Truck Series.
He changed the battery 15 laps ago.
Yeah, we talked about how just to refresh, new battery, new attitude, maybe we can go win this race. Heck, I didn't know that's what would happen.
A historic day in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. This is the 8th first-time winner in 2012. That is a new record for first-time winners ever in this series.
You got to remember, Rick, back in the day, there weren't a whole lot of winners in the Truck Series, so you got all kinds of different first-time winners. Now we've got competition as great as it's ever been, and a guy wins. We have 8 different winners.
In this field today, we had 15 drivers that had already gone to victory lane.
Look at Jason White. He does a great job of pushing his way through. Nothing he could have done differently there, but behind him, that's when things start breaking out.
I'm going to see if we can tell exactly what the first truck to get out of line here. See Miguel Paludo and Jason White make contact, and then it forces Jason over into Lofton. He makes pretty hard contact against the inside wall. Cracked him with a lot of damage. There's Rick Crawford sliding across the racetrack, making contact with the 81 of David Starr. Is that Clay Greenfield in the 68?
In the 68 caught up in it.
You can see, watch Jason White. He's getting a push from Kurt Busch. They get to the back of Ryan Blaney. Jason holds his own there, and it looks like as Pluto tries to come around the outside of White, maybe tries to squeeze down in line and ran Jason down into Justin Lofton. And Justin has another hard impact 2 weeks in a row into the inside wall.
Once again, we take a look at what happened behind our race winner.
It
Parker
started with the
Kligerman.
orange truck on the high side. Does he just try to get back over in line?
Watch if he's going to creep down towards it, towards that next broken white line set, and ran into the 23 of Jason White.
Nothing Jason White could have done there. It was a situation where it looked like, for some reason, Pluto thought it was clear to the inside and went down there, and it wasn't.
Crawford and Starr, 2 veterans of the series, involved in this, and we saw Clay Greenfield, Titan number 68. But the celebration will start for the driver of the 7. Parker Kligerman gets his first win in the Camping World Truck Series. He will be heading to victory lane, and what a great 300th start for Red Horse Racing. We go to Hermie and the team owner.
Well, while we're waiting on Parker Kligerman, I want to congratulate you on another win in start number 300. Congratulations.
300 is fantastic, isn't it? This is 140. This truck has won Daytona twice, and now it's won Talladega. Fantastic truck. Parker did a fantastic job. The guys are wonderful. It's just unbelievable. I'm thrilled.
It's owner Tom DeLoach, one of the good guys here in the Camping World Truck Series. He's going to victory lane again.
And I think it'll take a while to wipe that smile off his face.
But you just love what he's done. He's had some trucks that have been unsponsored, and he kept on going. 300th start here. Great to see somebody like that have some success.
How about that? He's gonna claim the infield here at Talladega with his checkered flag.
He may go try to claim victory lane too.
I think he needs to.
There you go. That's a fun celebration.
That's great. Ray Dunlap.
Not a good qualifying effort for Johnny Sauter, but it doesn't matter where you start. It matters where you finish, and you never finish these kind of races, and today you come home second. How'd you do it?
You know, I said it even on the radio there at the finish. I don't know what it is about these Toyota Tundra pickup trucks, but when you get them in the draft, they run. And proud of everybody at Triad. Hot Honey's Kurt Burkhart's Toyota was good. I felt like we had the right position there. Coming down to the stretch, we had about a 5 or 10 truck breakaway from the rest of the field. And I had Parker set up perfectly to come down here and dip out of line and get by him, but we just didn't get that far. Caution came out. So I'm happy for Parker. I like to see a guy that gets crapped on and get an opportunity somewhere else and go out and win a race. That's cool. So I've been there. But proud of everybody at Thor Sport, and that was fun. I like finishing these races. It's a lot of fun when we can do that.
Truck 13 comes home second today here at Talladega.
Ram Guts and Glory from Talladega. Well, there's a lot of guys we could put into that category as far as guts and glory, but probably no one more than the 7 driver of Parker Kligerman, helped by the 13 of Johnny Sauter.
Yeah, what about those Toyotas? We heard Johnny Sauter say that. Those Toyotas have been unbeatable on the restrictor plate track.
That's 11 of the last 12 restrictor plate tracks that Toyotas have gone to victory lane.
And of course, going along with the guts is the glory, and he's made it to victory lane. Let's go there now.
Parker Kligerman climbs out in victory lane for the very first time. Slightly happy are your teammates in victory lane, Parker. No more interviews or no more questions about having the fastest truck and not getting to victory lane. Congratulations on your first career Camping World Truck Series victory.
Woo! I can't thank enough people in this world, you know. There's a ton of people that have made this possible to get to this point in my career. Roger Penske, my Briggs Cunningham, all the people at Penske Racing that found me, Bob Perona, and one person I probably didn't treat well enough throughout the start of my career, and that's my mom. Couldn't have done without her. She always believed in me when no one else did. Can't thank her enough. But let's say enough about these guys. We fought every single possible thing you could fight today. We had a vibration. We had, excuse me, there's a hat. We had a battery go down. We had no alternator, and we just went for it there at the end. And thank you to Johnny Sauter because he made that possible. That was pretty awesome. But you can't say enough about these guys. This is awesome. We're gonna go fight for this championship for sure.
That's Parker Kligerman. Always exciting to see a fresh face in victory lane. Rick?
And he mentioned fight for this championship. Let's take a look at the championship point standings, the 4 unofficial standings. Ty Dillon came in with a 1-point lead over James Buescher, and guess what?
He leaves with a 1-point lead.
He's got a 1-point lead over James Buescher.
And I love what you said, Rick. Very unofficial. There was a lot of crashing going on that last lap, and that'll affect these point standings. But we're pretty confident about the first 4 or 5 there that's where they'll stack up.
Right.
A top 5 finish for both James Buescher and Ty Dillon today, so the points really not much shaken there. But did you have a shot to win this race today, Ty?
I think so, definitely. When me and James got hooked up there, that was fun. We were coming to the front,
and I just snagged him on the bumper. These bumpers don't line up very well at all, so just snagged him and got him too loose, and we almost wrecked there. I'm just glad we finished. Good day for Bass Pro Shop, Chevy, UNOH, everybody that's involved, Tag Heuer. I got to thank everybody. It was a lot of fun, and now we can go race for this championship.
All right, today was the wild card everybody was worried about, and they got right through it. Both of them finishing in the top 5, Rick.
And there's Pop Pop. Richard Childress coming in to congratulate Ty Dillon on a pretty phenomenal finish there. A top 5, finishes 4th. Ryan Blaney, 29. The 29 truck finishes 5th in this race. An 18-year-old, first time he's ever been on a super speedway.
We talked to him on the pace lap. He sounded very calm. He had some great tutelage going on. His truck owner, Brad Keselowski, his dad, Dave Blaney, he certainly didn't disappoint.
How about the man, Norm Benning? Picked up the first Aaron's Lucky Dog, parlayed that into maybe a top 15 finish.
Unofficially, that's where he's being shown right now.
I love it when Norm does good things because he works so hard and got his truck tuned up as good as he can get it. Top 15.
So we call it the wild card when you come to Talladega. Well, remember the next race? Short track, Martinsville.
That's
another wild card.
That's the next wild card.
That's right. It was a wild one here in Talladega. We saw Crawford sliding up the racetrack. We saw quite a few times the 9 of Hornaday getting into issues. But in the end, it was 2 trucks that moved to the front. It was Parker Kligerman and Johnny Sauter working together, and Kligerman gets his first win in the Truck Series.